Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Encounter Roleplay, and welcome back to Death's Curios. It's been a little while, so happy to see everybody here again, and happy to see some familiar faces in chat, even this early into the game. So, before we begin, we'll do a quick recap, and then we'll get into introducing our players, and then jump straight into a message for our sponsors before we begin play. So last time you were all with us, they attended a very interesting secret play on the night of New Year's Eve. They went to the Britannia, a old theatre in the lower London district, which was to say that they were going to host a secret and very illegal play known as the Scottish play. For those of you who know, that means Macbeth, which is very much ominous to say, but that's fine. I'm sure nothing ominous will happen today. Speaking of, after they attended the play, they found out that the people in the audience were snuffing out their flames, and they were curious as to what this meant. Most of them all snuffed out their own flame, and in doing so, sealed the fate of an actress they were there to save, to find out what was going on with her. The group decided to go forwards after hearing some strange noises in the back, after seeing the rest of those who attended leave slowly and exit through the back of the theatre, where they went to the curtains and were warned to turn away, to leave, that there is nothing for them there and they should depart. They were also warned that they knew their names, as they spoke to some of them by name. They decided, let's not bother with that. I decided to open up the curtains and see what was behind, where they found 30 cultists wielding guns, wielding knives, and a very, very dead actress between them, unfortunately. They engaged in a gunfight and ran away swiftly, as some of them took some vicious wounds, whilst managing to dispatch a few of the other waiting cultists inside. But as they returned to the estate, the Berkeley estate, where they were to attend the rest of their party with two of their members, both gravely wounded with major organ damage, bleeding out, the doctor managed to save them, at least their lives temporarily. However, then, as two of our other members went back into the main room of the party, they found an announcement being made, a speech, and in the crowd, as they were delivering the speech, they saw a familiar face. Archibald, a lord, a Dampier, and a lover to Magdalena, had returned and smiled up at them. And that's where we left last session. So, we're going to jump into a very quick message about the sponsors for this channel, and then we're going to get straight into introducing our players and who they're playing today, so you can remember their wonderful faces and characters, and then we're going to get right into today's events, as there is a lot to cover. So, without further ado, I'll see you on the other side.
Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Death's Curios, here with my wonderful cast, and not quite Greybeard just yet, but he will be here very, very soon, I assure you. So we're going to go around the opposite way, given we haven't got a Greybeard, unfortunately, just yet. And we're going to have our cast introduce themselves and who they're playing today, and tell us a little bit about their current situation. And we'll start with the brilliant Shakes.
Oh, hi! I'm Shakespeare, and I'm playing Miss Fairchild, who is a mourner and mother to the lovely 5-year-old Havelock, and is currently kind of at death's door. Not quite anymore, but, you know, not in the greatest shape she's ever been in her life. And is very, very anxious about the whereabouts of her son right now, and where everyone else has gone, and, you know, why there's this possibly gaping wound in her chest. It's been a time. Not the night at the theatre she was expecting, but she's not actually been before, so she doesn't know if it was that off.
Well, I'm sure in the future you may find out just how off that night is, but before then, let's go down to the host of the evening, the wonderful Delilah Burke. Welcome back, Laurie Lark.
Thank you. It's good to be back, though I am barely alive as I'm back, as Delilah is joining Miss Fairchild on the opposite. Is it a gurney or bed? It's probably a bed. We don't have gurneys in the house. It's too unstylish. And, she's not exactly pleased. She is hurt. Her dress is ruined. And, yeah, that's her night. It's not a good night. Though, as for Loria herself, aka me, I've just come to the dawning and sinking and horrible realization what snuffing the candle meant when you said that caused her to die. Does this mean we literally snuffed out her candle? Because if we did, I feel really slow.
I may say that snuffing out candles in the middle of a secret theatre known for its illegal ties underground with a missing actress is probably not the best idea, but you didn't know any better and you wanted to fit in with the crowd.
Yeah, fitting in only cost of life. This is fine. It doesn't say anything about society. Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. And
Good.
please, this is exciting. I'm gonna lose my husband.
Yeah, maybe.
Archie's
Let's see it.
Georgie.
And speaking of losing a husband, speaking of Archie, Magdalena DeVille, welcome back.
Hi, it's good to be back, I guess. Yes, I'm Lindy, and I'll be playing Magdalena Dracul, daughter of Dracula. Broody, sad vampire, Dampier, technically half vampire. She acts like a vampire, though. She has a lot on her mind after what happened last episode, though she did not have a candle, so she's not responsible for snuffing out any lives, unfortunately.
No.
She did say if it was Shakespeare, though, she was going to murder someone, so she kind of wishes she did have a candle to snuff out, but it's fine. Everything's fine. Maybe we won't have to kill Archie. Maybe we'll just maim him a little and teach him a lesson, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. How dare he start a cult without me? That's all. And
He needs a
consort with
hobby on
anyone.
the weekend. Okay, but speaking of hobbies on the weekend, somebody who doesn't have many hobbies, Tilly.
I look after my dog and I solve cases. Hi, I'm Humbledore. I'll be playing Tilly Griffiths, the rather stressed out, socially inept, and just a disappointment, I think, at the minute to everyone around them. Detective, as she has unwittingly led everyone into danger because she thought it would be interesting as a case. And it turned out it was, and it was the case they were looking for. But, you just got to push things that one little bit too far. Can't really say no. Can't go back. But yeah, looking forward to the, the cultist party, I think is the best word for it. Get well soon, the ones upstairs, please. Please?
We'll see. As recovery in Unhallowed Metropolis is a slow and arduous task. And speaking of somebody who's doing part of that healing, Doctor VerRuckt, welcome just in time for your introduction.
Thank you. I'll be Dr. VerRuckt this evening, and he was performing emergency surgeries in literally a bedroom. So last we knew, and is completely unaware of the cultist activity that may be occurring in the other room. So we will see if the doctor blunders into that or manages to keep everyone alive. So fingers crossed, people.
Fingers crossed indeed, but you'll need more than that to win today. So speaking of, I gave a recap before, but I'll quickly go around the scenes. And we're not going to go back to the climactic scene that we were in just last time, as that was quite a nice little cliffhanger, and I just want to drag that out a little bit longer for the sake of Magdalena. And we're going to go back to the little ER room, where we find Miss Fairchild and Delilah Berkeley back stable, still dying, however, but not bleeding out as quick, and having need of time to recover. Dr. VerRuckt, you finally finish your initial treatment, your hands covered in blood on the gloves that you have managed to have out of your pocket. The two of them safe and alive, though at a cost, it seems, to yourself. You found yourself losing yourself inside of that surgery for a moment. But as you look around and you see the blood on your gloves, you see the makeshift beds that have these sheets strewn over them covered in blood and your antiseptic that you brought with you, and the two patients nearby, both alive, but both very much paler for the ordeal. The two of you are feeling like, to put it bluntly, hell. You're aching. You're tired. You hurt a lot. You've been given the base amount of medication that VerRuckt carries, but it's only enough to dull the pain to a very light agony. Still, the doctor's work seems to have done its job. You don't feel yourselves bleeding out anymore, but you know that it's going to take a while until your insides feel like they should.
Thank you, Doctor. It was well done. Oh.
It is what I do. And I've sent servants to grab like cold compresses and that sort of thing to try to make them more comfortable. And I begin to meticulously, take off the gloves, peel them inside out, set them aside, and start cleaning the tools and whatnot with my OCD.
Doctor?
And you begin to clean them off.
Yes.
Be honest with me. This is going to scar, isn't it?
and he like leaned in to listen to you, and when you say that, he's like, oh yes, indeed, that would be quite a. I mean, I sutured as best I could, but it's wounds is wounds.
Oh, this is far worse than when I had Teddy. She just looks so much in pain.
Miss Fairchild is just like lying there examining this bullet hole. The rest of her is riddled with scars. Like there are stab wounds, there are slices, there's some things that look like teeth. Just a lot of scar tissue, just kind of like examining this bullet hole, just watching Miss Berkeley like, yes, that would be terrible.
So it's literally like alabaster porcelain skin with one little, incision mark and whatnot, and then a roadmap of Los Angeles over a star to the other side.
Yeah.
So
she's 42. She's lived a life.
Do you think we could at least go down to the party? I'd feel rather remiss not showing up for midnight.
You are out of your mind. You're barely alive.
Painkillers?
What he said.
I cannot recommend it.
But
And you do hear a sudden din of noise, whereas there's an ambient amount of people sort of muttering and chatting that came through the floorboards. At about that time, as you're talking, you hear the noise die down to a hushed tone. And you do begin to hear the speech coming through the floorboards, though very muffled. You can't make out the words, but you can make out the low tone of Ned's voice.
yeah, she listens very intently to make sure his pace is even. He seems calm. It's like,
He seems
he sounds okay. That is good, though. He won't be later. Oh dear.
And downstairs, it's as you saw Archibald. It's about the same time that Ned passes over the speech to you, Magdalena, as he finishes his part and turns to you. And, of course, I have my esteemed guest here, Magdalena DeVille, the brilliant painter who has offered to share their own speech.
Yes!
He takes a step back, and you see many people quiet clapping.
And I take the piece of paper, and it's probably in English. So, and I haven't had time to review it, so I should probably make a roll.
Yeah, could you please make me an acting check?
I don't have acting. Do you want
Okay.
me to roll an English check?
Roll me an English check.
Okay. Cool.
Given it is not your first language and you have a skill in it instead.
It's not even like her fourth language, because there's Turkish and yeah, it's not easy being 450 years old. 14.
That's pretty good. You understand it. There's a lot of weird flowery language used though from
Yes.
on Delilah's side. It's very flowery indeed. It's very complicated and has specific beats in it that you kind of see. You remember to at least omit the bits where it says things such
Says,
as my
like,
beloved
love
husband.
and beloved, yes. And I say my
yeah,
good
things like that.
friend. And it says like love and like friendship.
And can you give me a very quick acting check as you try and
So
orate
just 2d10?
this? 2d10s, please.
Unless this is considered
I'll tell you what.
arts.
I'll tell you what. I'll consider it an art for you.
Okay. The art of reading.
Question: would she still
For this
sound
one
flirtatious because Delilah's speech? Ooh, new rumor.
But in probably an awkward stinted Magdalena way when they're reading this.
Yes.
Or on 18. No, you read it perfectly. You understand this and you see the words. You know what they're going for. Some of them are a little bit flirty and you can do that.
I've done speeches for the troops before reading, Ottoman Empire and stuff. So this is just more flowery.
Yeah, and
I just
you
think
rail the
Delilah
speech off.
thoughts. Yeah.
And you reel the speech off. You get it all done. And by the end of it, the rest of the nobles do stay quiet, but do then clap quietly on the side. And you do see a couple of them clapping a bit louder who are a little bit inebriated by now as they sort of lean against the counter and woo!
Mm.
And you see Archibald who smiles at you and gives you a good slow clap. And he gives you
She
a
gives
wave
him another
back
little wave.
and a slight
yeah.
wink.
I smell a rumor brewing already. This is a very interesting triangle I'm seeing.
At this time, Ned turns to you as the rest of the crowd begin to sort of mill back together and begin to mingle once more. And he turns to you and simply goes, brilliant, brilliant, well done. You performed it so well. I appreciate this. I really do. I honestly do.
Thank
If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. I will.
Yes, I'm sure I could figure out something.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, if you let me know what it is, I will make sure it's so. Thank you again, Miss DeVille.
Yes, it was fine. Thank you. And she gets off and she's just like, like she did not.
Yeah, the
she did
both
not
of you
enjoy
do
that.
basically the same thing as you turn away and start being like, ugh.
Ugh.
And leave the stage as he leaves his raised area and goes back to mingling between people and starts to make his way slowly around. What do you do?
I think
There are many
Magdalena
people.
just sits there for another second, just like her heart rate during that, because she's a bit nervous because she knows how invested Delilah is in this, and she kind of cares about friendship. So she was like, "Can't mess this up." Also, there's a potential there's a potential cultist here, and they're dying upstairs. So she just has a lot on her brain. So she takes like just a good 20 seconds to breathe and slow her heart rate way back down, and then straightens up a bit.
And it's as you're
And-
trying to do these things that
Mm.
pretty much as soon as you sit down and think the thought of beginning to calm down, a familiar face is in vision as slowly and very measured, with 2 cups in hand, Archibald makes his way towards you. The slicked back hair, very neat. The
Lovely.
beard trimmed nice and perfectly short, very silvery still in the way of his hair, as he steps towards you and smiles.
Just give him a
His
big
perfectly
smile.
tailored suit, very much immaculate in front of you. And he offers a cup out.
I look at his shoes as he
Sure.
walks up.
Give me an investigation check, please, or a forensic science.
Oh, not a wit check?
You can give me a base wit, but it will yield different results.
Yeah, because I don't have investigation or forensic science, so I'll use my wit check.
Very well.
Looking for any theater-like results.
Okay.
14.
They're
Seeing if
perfectly
they're the
shined
same
and
shoes
polished.
I saw.
But they
But are
do
they the
seem to be the
same?
same, at least as far as you can see right now. They look to be the same
Okay.
make. They are the same type of shoe. They are the same fit of shoe.
And color.
They are the same color and shade. But they're very polished and very clean, unlike the ones in the theater, which were a bit more dusty from backstage.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course.
And he
if I
offers
tend
you
to-
the cup. I made
Thank you,
sure
Art.
to bring you some better drink than what they're offering here. How are you doing?
Thank you.
It's been a while, my dear.
Well, I had to give speech because
You did.
Delilah's not feeling very well. Thank you. I was a bit nervous. It has been a long time since I have given inspirational speech.
As I see, since the Ottoman Wars, was it?
Yes, been a while. So long.
Well, you did brilliantly, and I must say you looked amazing up there, my love.
Thank you. Please sit down. She kind of pats the
Of course.
seat next to her.
He sits down next to you and sort of takes a sip of his blood from his cup.
Yeah, I definitely go to raise it, but I give it a sniff first to make sure it's not that shitty window pane glass blood that's gonna make me go all crazy.
No, it's not window pane glass blood. That smelled horrifyingly bad.
Okay, good. Then I'll just take a nice deep draught. Just
And you get a taste English.
Anyone I recognize or know?
Could you give me a very quick intelligence check?
Sure,
Just
because
an
I do
intellect
have
check, please.
Bloodhound, so I get a
You
nice
do.
visual intelligence check. Oh, I
Mhm.
actually have that as a stat. It's amazing what having an int score of above 1 is.
Oh, of course.
13. I keep hitting
Okay.
10s.
You see images, but they don't really reflect much to you.
Okay.
Its blood isn't too fresh. It's maybe about an hour old.
It's not ballerina blood, is it?
You do see some images of stages and of audiences
Okay.
as your fang falls out in shock.
I need to refit this one. It's been a few years. So yeah, because I did smell all of that.
You did.
Just everywhere. So she's keeping an eye out. If it's not the same.
It's very
she's-
good.
she's a
It
little-
seems to be similar.
This isn't helping her. She goes, so Archie, I would like to have talk with you.
Yes, of course. Do you wish to have it now? We are mostly alone in here, of course. People will approach, but they'll approach when we deem it necessary.
Yes, and we could always pause. It's about that note you left me, saying you were going out of town.
Oh, yes, that a trifle at best. A boring trip, I must admit.
I heard you were going to visit a certain lady.
You mean Lady
know.
Hart? Beatrice, yes.
Yes. Her.
Yes, of course. And what about Lady Beatrice?
Yes, what about Lady Beatrice? And I'm...
That is what I asked you, he says and takes a sip of his
What
blood
was,
again.
the nature of your visit with her?
The nature of it is a purely innocent thing. If you mean there is some other involvement there, no longer. Perhaps once
That may
many
have been
years
what I
ago.
first suspected. I
Look,
was very unhappy.
I have had emotional investment in Lady Hart. Yes, but not in a romantic manner. No.
Do you
Takes
know
another
Lady
sip.
Hart's relationship with my family?
Not particularly, no. She doesn't speak of it much. I never broach the part of the DeVille family. Nor do I speak, of course, of
Sorry, I
Dracula.
thought I was muted. That is good. I'm checking. I wanna see if I can get a read on him. Like if he's
Yeah,
bullshitting
sure.
me.
You can give me that. So, yeah, sure. Just give me a wit check to see if you can just
Wit
read
check.
this.
Okay. On to you, Archie. My cat is doing something with a paper bag, so if you can hear it, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, that's
That's
awful.
a 6. Do you want to use one of your
I'm-
second chances on this?
We have 2, and this
Do
could
you
go
want to use
really
one of your
poorly
2?
tonight. No, we're still the first bit of the game. I'll just accept this fate.
Okay. You can't read him. He is
Okay.
cool as ever. He is
Mhm.
reserved. He has that slight smile and quirk to his lip, the same steely, polite look and the same grey hair, slicked back and short beard, perfect as always, unshakable.
I melt a little, but then I remember I need to stay strong. And I go, well, she and my family are not on the best of terms, so to speak, so...
Well, that could complicate things.
Oh? Please elaborate.
Meanwhile, Tilly, what are you up to in the back of the room?
I mean, Magdalena wanted to talk at some point, so I think after she gets on stage, she'll just be like, she'll just point to the back. She's gonna go like to the kitchen, it's probably where her dog is, and just be away from everyone for a bit. So she'll just point, and shrug, and then leave. So she'll just go and find a dog and just sit down and just think about everything that's happened.
And
she
you
wants
sit
to go upstairs,
in the kitchen. Your very fat dog stood with you.
He's probably being fed goose liver.
Yeah, your dog is
it's disgusting.
Down on its side, sort of just panting, not really moving at all. You found it in that position and it hasn't moved since.
I'm going to have a word with that cook. You can't keep on like this.
And the cook continues to cook in the corner as you say that.
Oh, yes. Can you please stop feeding my dog? I know he's very cute.
Well,
Look at
he
him.
has great appetite, so I keep feeding him.
Dogs will
If
eat
he
until they
was
die.
less of a hungry boy, then I will not feed him as such.
Is there an appetite suppression for dogs, I wonder? Maybe I should ask the doctor. Regardless, he will not have to visit this establishment if you're going to feed him to his death. I do want to plan on keeping him around, but this is...
He will not die. He'll be fine. He's just hungry boy.
He's
Trust
not
me, I
hungry.
owned dogs
He's
when younger.
greedy. His cardinal sin is definitely gluttony, isn't it, Gabriel?
Dogs cannot sin. They are pure creatures, loyal. The only thing they reflect is the sins of their owner.
Are you calling me fat, sir?
No, I am saying that perhaps you could do with some more food. And the dog is making up for it. Perhaps you work too much and you do not eat your meals, and so dog eats meals, and then dog becomes used to food, and then dog comes here and then gets fed plenty.
Well,
Does
I don't
this
think the
ring
dog
any
is
bells, Miss Griffiths? Says the cook as he flips a couple of eggs.
Nope. Gabriel, we're leaving. We're going somewhere else. Where there's away from
I
food
don't
and...
think he's moving.
Well, I'm going to have to carry him then, aren't I? And just scoop him up like a
I
big
would
baby.
suggest not carrying the dog through the party.
I can go in the back way. It's fine.
The manor is closed to guests, or there is an event on, and you are invited.
Then I shall take
I'm
my
sorry,
leave.
but
I've never been denied access to the house before.
well, usually we don't have so many people here. Of course, you can make your way towards the rooms of Miss Delilah. I just cannot let you further in the back.
That's
We
fine.
have supplies there. We have plenty other things. You may use one of the lounges, or perhaps one of the parlors upstairs.
I should probably go and visit them. Oh,
There is a servant's entrance if you wish to take that.
Yes. Could I perhaps bring up some food for the doctor? I don't
Yes,
think
of
he's eaten.
course. I have been cooking some eggs for him. Only 2 I have seen in years.
Yes, Mr. Ville is quite lucky in
Yes.
that regard.
I have heard.
Oh, and a
they
slice of cake,
slide
Miss
the eggs.
Fairchild. So a bit of
Yes,
cake.
of course. He takes a massive slice of cake from a very set-aside separate cake that you can see, which is a black iced cake with a white ribbon on it, as he takes a cut of it and pulls away to reveal a sort of red velvet inside as he places it on a plate.
Excellent.
Made especially for her. This is Delilah's Don't Eat Me cake, which I have been told is not an instruction, but just a cute name.
It's an inside joke. She has quite the appetite.
I was told to make it red velvet.
Right, great.
That vehicle will best appeal to the tastes of Miss Fairchild.
Yeah, she's quite sophisticated. Gabriel, we're going to see Miss Fairchild. You like Miss Fairchild. So please get up.
Hero wobbles and then
there we
gets onto his feet and then just pathetically starts walking forwards on his stubby little legs.
The next dog I'm getting will have to have longer legs than this. If I get another dog. And she'll go upstairs with like the tray in hand.
Okay. And you make your way up through the servants' entrances and through the middle of the walls until you make your way into a parlor that's very familiar. And as you do, you make your way to the suites where Delilah, Miss Fairchild, and Doctor VerRuckt are. As those of you inside see the door open. And you see Tilly
I
Griffith.
glance over weakly and dramatically before looking at Tilly, then immediately brighten up. Tilly! Please explain to the doctor how I must be downstairs hosting.
I just pull a sheet over myself.
I'm afraid my specialty is in the law, not in medicine, so you have to listen to the good doctor. I have brought you
tasted
such
a
a
lot
good
of blood.
stern tone.
That's a lot of Doctor, have you eaten? And Miss Fairchild, here you are.
Thank you. And it's like she's like holding a sheet up like to her neck, like trying to awkwardly reach over it to take the plate and then lie back down.
Perhaps want me to feed you, Miss Fairchild, if you're struggling.
Oh, good God, no, that like the sheet just creeps further up. That won't be necessary.
All right.
Thank you.
Well,
The
if you
cake just
need anything,
disappears under the sheet.
just let me know if you need anything.
Thanks.
Doctor,
Thank you.
tea and that for you, and Miss Berkeley, I brought up some tea and a thin chicken broth for you as well.
Honestly, a digestive would be more than enough. I just need some tea, digestive, and a lot of bandages, and maybe an opiate, please.
I'm sorry I don't carry illegal drugs on me. I'm not licensed.
Well, anything for the pain. I should be able to move, but moving is, well, right now, quite difficult.
Do you perhaps own a wheelchair? If you're that
determined,
determined, perhaps we can put you in one of those. But it depends whether you want anyone to see you in your state. You've been heavily injured.
And it's as you say heavily injured that a knock comes at your door.
Who
is it?
Nobody replies.
That's alarming.
I draw my gun and put it behind my
Draw your
back.
gun.
I attempt to sit up and fail.
You do. As you slump back down.
The doctor is
Yeah.
snarfing eggs. It's just
Doctor,
like,
these are the first eggs
Sorry.
you've tasted since before the reclamation.
I know that's
This
like
is heavenly. Could you give me a willpower check, please?
sure. Oh yeah, will my strong suit.
You're very strong-willed, Doctor.
Oh, this is +3, so 14.
A few tears do come to your eyes despite yourself. But still, you go for the door and open it, and at the floor you see a small box from a pie company. There's a label on it that says Miss Fairchild.
You have a delivery, Miss Fairchild. It's a pie.
Oh.
And it
How
smells
did they-
heavenly to all of you in there.
It smells
Right.
rather good.
I'm
this must
not
be the
sure
pie
how
that's
they
made
knew
with
where it
good
was.
Miss Berkeley, we might have just a thing for you. She picks it up.
What do you mean?
It's very good pie.
It's
On the front of the box,
excuse me.
it says, the origins of pie, the very architects of them, come to architect Pie House. Now with 20% more.
This
then it
doesn't
goes-
smell like my chef's cooking.
It's not. It's from a shop I went to. I'm still not entirely sure how they knew I was here, but this pie did appear to give me the ability to run. So that's it's strange but good. Good pie.
And then the doctor was still like snarfing eggs, and then the pie gave her the ability to run. He straightens up and looks over, and just like puts the.
I would
egg
like some
down.
of that straightening up running pie. Maybe if it could make you run, it would make me stand.
No straightening up running pie.
Do you think the doctor could do a quick test on it first? Because, well, yes. We don't know what's
Honestly,
in it.
I just presumed it was something narcotic.
It did feel
Generally
that
tends
way.
to be.
Not that I've
Take
done a
a
lot of narcotics. I can imagine that's how it feels.
May I take a quick look and try to attempt to see if this is
You take a
meth
look at it. It's a pie. It's
Oh.
beautiful. It's sliced perfectly, and it smells like mixed fruits.
Oh, it's a dessert pie this time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't have any scientific equipment here.
You have your
Oh,
mouth.
there is Ned's lab, but you'd have to ask for his permission.
Can I just have some pie, please?
Yes,
It's your
please.
pie.
It doesn't smell like mincemeat pie, so that would be good.
The doctor will take a very
Mincemeat
small,
isn't. Never mind.
a small slice for science later.
Small slice.
Small slice for science. A giant size. Fairchild.
Man, God.
I bring the rest of the pie over to Miss Fairchild.
Is going to
Yeah.
attempt once again to like sit up while keeping a sheet at neck level.
You do
Just
so.
Okay. Oh, good. God, that it. We'll put the pie in her lap.
Miss Fairchild,
and just
try
stick
doing
it.
this. Like I just kind of like show her like the basic like towel roll thing to keep things up.
Okay.
She kind of just like rolls the towel and then just keeps holding it.
You want me to tie it over the back, Miss Fairchild?
No, and she kind of just leans. No, I'm quite fine. I'll just have pie and just shoves a piece of pie.
And
in
as
her
you
mouth.
eat the pie, as you finish up that first slice, that glorious first slice, you taste currants, you taste raisin, you taste cherry, you think, in there somewhere. Quite delightful little mixed berry pie. The golden crust, and it's delightful. And you feel that buzz begin to come through you as you bite into that final cherry. Your
Speaking of
pupils
cherry,
dilate slightly. You feel full of energy and you gain 1 vitality. You're now on 1 vitality.
so speaking of
Hey.
cherry, GM, I have very important questions.
Mm.
Does my feminine intuition kick in at all, or my love of gossip go anything at the particular reactions, or is this just normal, Miss Fairchild? My penchant for rumors and romance, is it kicking in at all? Like, do I get a little tingling?
No, not really.
Really?
You're too consumed with the smell of this pie and the concept that it can make you run again.
So I don't
And
notice
I'm not
anything.
too sure what being gut shot does for feminine intuition, but I think it might distract it.
Yeah, you've seen it on the outside.
One day, I will catch you, and I will set. Wait, no. How am I going to set Tilly up with them? Ooh, that's difficult. Anyway,
Phil, do you eat the pie?
Yeah.
Yes. You eat
yes,
a pie.
she'll glance over at Miss Fairchild, and then
You gain 1 vitality by the time you finish the slice.
thank you for that donation.
We love buff pie.
We love, buff pie is
Meanwhile,
great.
downstairs, whilst all this is going on, the conversation continues to be awkward.
And how exactly might that complicate things?
Well, you see, my dear Magdalena, he says, and sort of leans towards you as usual in a slight way. That love felt once again. There's a few things about me that I haven't told you. And I loath to know that I have held such things from you, my dear, and I'm sorry. But it was not of my own volition, you see, for there are conditions to certain things. But I am almost free of those. You see, Lady Hart is my darker half of what I am. The vampire to the human. It's not only
That's
you
funny.
who has troubled parentage.
All Magdalena can think about is, since they saw Shakespeare just hours ago, she's like, this is just like Romeo and Juliet. She goes, well, I see. That could complicate things, yes.
It could, yes. I wish to be free of it, my love, so I could be with you fully, so I could give you all that I have. But before then, there are conditions to be met. A few paltry tasks to cause certain things to happen that would benefit them greatly, and then to leave my own way. I'm almost complete with my own. There are only a few more tasks to do, my love, and then we can be together.
I'm gonna wit check him again.
Sure, go ahead. Give me a wit check, please, as you try and see if he's lying or not.
Yeah. Just kill my rival's daughter, and then we can be, then you're free. My goodness.
He is telling the truth.
Yeah.
Do you want to reroll?
No. I'm saving them.
He's telling the truth. He does want to be with you. And he does only have a few more tasks to complete, and then he can be fully yours.
I see. Is there any way I could assist you in these tasks?
There could be, but I do not wish for you to get your hands dirty in such things. Do not worry. They are already in motion. I need one more thing, and then they will be on their way, truly. And my progenitor may deal with their own things from then on. The bindings upon me will then be released. The chains that hold me back from my love with you will be released and relinquished from my ankles and my neck.
Well, are you sure I cannot help you? If we could just speed this up, we could be together sooner, completely, and we wouldn't have any more secrets between us.
Indeed, he says, and reaches over for the back of your hand, though still keeps it secret enough from the rest of the people watching who are milling about. There is only one thing I need, and it is already in motion. Crop of London's upper society are all within the Berkeley estate tonight, all invited by the reunited couple of Delilah and, of course, her husband. And all it takes is one moment for everything here to change. All of London.
Yes, there could be a good amount of change coming to London soon.
There could be.
Aside from the regular change that's going to happen tonight, apparently. This isn't going to impact Delilah too much. I have gone rather fond of her. She is
I'm sure. So long as things go as they should, Delilah will not be affected at all. No, she is one of yours. She is one of your preferred, my dear. I wouldn't wish to harm her.
And her husband and child.
He takes a sip of his glass.
Should go on. I see. So, interesting.
But for what it's worth, we will have free reign of wherever we wish to go after these nights.
This is
Where
true.
Would you want to go? Back to the old country, perhaps to the new country.
I have been thinking about, Romania. It is very nice this time of year. Not sure how many animals are there. Probably less. I should
probably
write a letter and see how things are.
We all know that won't arrive or return.
Well, one can hope. I have heard that Mr. Berkeley has a method for traveling between places.
Indeed, he does. And from what I've heard, well, perhaps, but I have rumor that we have another way to do so. And I am not planning on killing him. No, too
Oh,
important.
good.
No, it might happen, but I hope not. No.
Well, we shall.
What
maybe
I
we can
needed from Mr.
try
Berkeley
to not happen.
is for him to gather everybody I needed into this one location. For a few other pawns to be knocked down, and for these
Yes.
bishops, and of course the queen and king to line up.
Now, when you say queen, do you mean actual queen? Because she's not here tonight.
No, of course she's not here tonight. But we don't need her in the room to send a message, he says, and takes one more sip as he finishes his cup. But still, my love, not long now. Not long at all.
Excellent. You know, after all this is done, I was thinking maybe we could start up a cult or something. I hear those are fun, in fashion right now. I've always wanted to be in a cult.
Well, that could be arranged. I've been
Wanna get
dabbling
his
in
rea-
cults for
I
a
want to
little
see
while.
his reaction to a cult. Mr. Secret Sneaky Cult Starter without me.
Sure, go ahead. Give me another wit check, please.
Out of sheer frustration, she's like, oh.
Yeah, he seems to know about cults. Seems like he's, probably dabbled in a few, like he said.
Does he seem like that's maybe struck a surprise with him? Me just bringing up cults?
A little bit. He was like,
A little bit.
Okay, we could do that.
Okay.
It seems more like it didn't shock him.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Make of that what you will.
I don't want to have to stab him. She goes, you know, if we go back to home country, you could meet my papa.
That would
And
be
we could-
delightful.
Not tell him who your progenitor is.
Or, and this is just a different thought, once I'm free, we could discuss the idea of dealing with them for good.
Oh, yes. I like this plan.
Yes.
Hmm.
I have ways and secrets that I know that would very much benefit that task.
Yes. I think he would be most appreciative if you were to have slain one of his rivals.
Well, yes, I've done a few in my time. That list of yours is not so secretive. You leave it on the side engraved in stone.
I do.
I
It's
crossed off a
block
couple
list.
for you. Ludwig
You're
and Kreskolt, they both died. Quite easily.
That's
But-
good.
You can take the credit if you wish, my dear.
Well, Papa is already. He has expectations of me that I've pretty much met. But if you were to have killed them, then he would be less displeased with you on initially meeting. He has very high standards for.
Then I will endeavor to meet all of them, my dear, he says, and smiles at you before placing down the cup. But should we talk of things more fun than merely your father?
Yes, it weighed heavy on my slowly beating heart, and I wished
Of
to discuss this
course.
with you.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll discuss this more once the night is over, my dear. But until then, I
Of
have
course.
business to attend to.
Right. Just let me know when it is about to happen so I can keep an eye on, my favorites.
Oh, my dear, it already is.
Mm.
At which point, we'll get back upstairs. Pie has been eaten.
I have probably
Pine's
used
good.
this little burst of energy to try and get some semblance of dressed,
Yep, you get everything on.
or at least get my shirt back on. That's number
You
one.
get the
job.
lot back on.
Can I
That's a
summon my
hefty job.
squad of maids to help me reassemble my
Yeah,
outfit?
you
because mine is
ring your
ruined?
bell and your flock of maids appear as you are almost immediately dressed, and they disappear
No,
again into the different secret little entrances of the servants back into the walls of your house.
Yeah, I'll
Just
hold up
on
a
the
mirror
other
and
side,
do a
like
check.
lacing my own corset, like rich people.
Ah, yes. Ooh, I should probably go and check my reflection. I do feel much better. I think something's in this pie. I feel like I'm talking a little bit quickly, don't you think?
Yes.
How about
I
we
could
just
probably
make
run.
our appearance downstairs and then we just call it a night?
Oh, but I have to check my appearance.
I have to check on the children. They
Yes.
should be in bed
Oh,
by
yes. They should be.
Miss-
Yes.
Miss Fairchild, and he gives you his great coat because you are covered in blood.
I'm wearing all black.
Okay.
Doesn't show as much as it could, but you know.
He still offers the great coat.
And there's this kind of just a look on her face, like, you know what I do for a living? My son has seen me in worse, but he kind of just, she'll just button it up and just be like, thank you.
And
Goodness, this is a heavy coat.
He'll lean in and he'll say, "It's not for you. It's for the, the nobles here." Say, "Well, Judge."
I am more than aware. Thank you, Doctor. And she'll kind of like lean against the wall because that's a heavy coat and she's not at her best.
Does she have her canes with her?
Should do, yeah. She hasn't lost them at any point. So yeah, she'll
Okay.
get her canes up and kind of go to the door and then stop and look around at Delilah. The children we in which direction?
So that would be Teddy's own suite. She'll kind of like call for a servant to lead her.
And the servant appears
out
out of the wall again as usual.
Oh, good. Thank you. Lead on.
They do so silently as they lead you through and out the door. And it's as you get out the door that you realize that everything is uncomfortably quiet. There is no murmuring of chat downstairs. You can hear the clocks ticking in the other rooms. You can hear the creaking of the floorboards underneath your feet. You can hear Delilah, Tilly, and VerRuckt in the other room, these small signs of their being within. But you don't hear anything from downstairs.
Just going to stop and kind of hike my cane up because I presume we've walked a good pace from the door. I'm just going to hike my cane up and use the extra length to just rap on the door a couple of times.
And you do so. And the door opens as Teddy arrives at the door.
No, I meant the door that the others are in, because this is
Oh, so you go
unsettling.
back.
I would like them
and
to
then
know.
you go to the other
Yeah.
door. You knock on that door.
Yep, Tilly will open it. Miss Fairchild?
It is
Yes?
uncommonly quiet out here, like unsettlingly quiet. I'm aware I have something of a paranoid manner, but while I check on the children, could someone
I trust
check
your judgment.
on the silence?
Yes, I will.
Indeed. I hope no one's made an off-color joke. That would ruin an entire evening. That is
And I'm
very...
going to hurry off again with the maid.
Well, perhaps you should stay here, Miss Berkeley, but Dr. VerRuckt, would you mind accompanying me downstairs?
I think I'm fine enough. She smiles, looking very like... She's getting touched up on the rouge.
The doctor was about to say, "Of course," and then when you're like, "I think I feel fine," he like makes a fist.
Well, I'm going to go. You
I will go
decide
with
between you.
And,
Excellent.
and he's like, I take no more responsibility for you, Lady Berkeley. Your condition is tenuable. And he let Miss Fairchild walk out because he thinks tough, whatever, she's cool, she can handle herself. And then, but Miss Delilah Berkeley, Lady Berkeley, her husband signs my checks. So if she dies, the husband could be mad, and hence the checks stop. So it's partially self-interest. But then yes,
like,
he
looks
did
a bit
it 'cause-
confused. Like, you've done a wonderful job, Doctor. Besides that pie, I feel delightful.
Yes, don't overdo it. Miss Griffith, if I may. And he, motions towards the door.
I'll be with you in just a moment. I just need to undo these padlocks real quick. It'll be really quick. She'll go over to the mirror. She usually doesn't check the mirror at night, but this is a most emergency. She needs to make sure her face looks nice. And she'll like open up one of the chains to like kind of look up and make sure that she looks fine.
You look in and you look fine.
Okay. And then she'll pull down the fabric and relock the
Relock
everything down.
over the mirrors. and everything seems okay. But meanwhile, for those of you heading down towards the main parlor as you're walking through the halls of the manor, it is uncomfortably quiet. You can hear every creak of every floorboard underneath your feet as if it's almost ear-shatteringly loud. You can hear even your own breaths, but you can't hear noise from downstairs.
I think I'll try and be quiet as well, just because of the situation we're in. Just feeling unsettled, so I'll try and do some stealth.
Unfortunately, there's nowhere for you to really hide in the hallway, and there's nobody to look at you, so you don't need to make a stealth check.
It's more walking very, very, very quietly and trying.
You can walk quietly without making a check.
Okay. All right.
And the doctor.
There's nobody to really contest it right now, and you're walking through the empty house.
And the doctor is
distance,
strangely quiet in his movements anyway.
Yeah. The two of you go through, you hear the creaking. You hear the signs of the old manor. But you don't hear anything from downstairs yet as you begin to approach closer and closer. You've still got some distance to go yet, a couple more minutes to walk there. The place is large. But it is the quietest you've ever heard it. The signs of its age very much are audible in this deafening silence.
I'll try and take a deep breath in and see if I can sort of smell anything, the strange senses that I do have, and see if I just notice anything off.
You smell the strange scents that you usually catch when you're here. You taste the colours of Lady Berkeley's estate. But nothing different. Not here.
Okay. We'll haste on up a little bit.
Yeah, and the doctor goes to click the safety on his pistol and realizes it's not there. And he just, his shoulders slump very purposefully. And he loosens his trench knife and his combat syringe and, kind of cracks his neck like, okay.
If there is a situation, I'll hand you mine. And she brings out two full mags to give him. For the love of God, carry some ammo.
And he tucks them into the harness.
She gives him a nod and carries on walking.
And the two of you continue to walk. But meanwhile, downstairs, Magdalena, not shortly after what was said, the entire floor went silent. There was the murmuring and chattering of people mingling before it all at once cut off mid-word for most of them. The only people that seem to look slightly different is the young Lord Marriott, who is currently sort of stood at the side. And you also see, of course, Lord Berkeley, who turns from where he was talking to someone and looks very confused. My dear, I'll be right back. He stands.
Of course,
somewhere
darling.
And begins to walk across the floor through the crowd.
Look through, between the three of them constantly. And if I can catch Lord Berkeley's eye, I'm just going to beckon him over furiously.
Yeah, he begins to walk forward, mainly as he sees the rest of them go very silent and look towards him. And he begins to move towards you, beelining away as he makes his way between you and Archibald. Ahead of the crowd, luckily. With Lord Marriott still sort of in the middle, sat on his chair, as this weird silence crosses the room. What is the meaning of this exactly, Magdalena? Is this one of your party tricks?
I wish. So, just have a seat. Just sit down.
It's a standing event.
Please. You're going to want to sit down.
I think I'll stand.
All right, if you think it's on you. There's going to be a lot of murder here tonight,
What?
most likely.
No, there
there's
is not.
That's here, and they're trying to reshape London. I just found out. I don't think there is what I can do about it right now. So if you could just sit next to me, I'll make sure you don't die.
Right. Very well. And I'm just going to quickly check the stream. I've seen that London Bridge is cheesing down or something.
Oh no!
So, and it isn't loading for me, so that's not good.
Let me see.
We're not at a
It's
magic
working
search
for
yet,
me.
though, so this is fine.
Can you all see it still?
Yeah,
It's still live for you.
Yep. Hippie and Roller still talking.
Roller says "eck," which is the main reason I'm very much concerned.
Twitch is indeed
it seems
super
to
twitchy.
be.
You're still broadcasting though, so the VOD should be okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's.
well, as long as that is, hopefully it should continue, as we're having a couple of issues here, which is
It's okay.
a shame.
Chat
But it
is
says
just
we're
No, that's
broadcasting.
okay.
Our guests going still.
All right, good. As long as that's okay. But regardless, you see Archibald stand and walk towards the Lord as he turns and simply states, "There will be no such thing this evening. These guests are here on my behest, in my house. You would not do anything of the sort."
So he walks away from me?
He is in between you and Archibald, as he had to cross
Okay.
the room towards Archie to get to you. He's closer to
Oh, I
Archie.
wouldn't have spoken to him until he got to
Yeah, he's
me.
closer, but
Okay.
Archie is in the way.
Oh. Then I wouldn't have said anything about murder or anything, because I wanted him to be, like, here.
Directly
I thought he was
next to you.
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
right next to me.
no problem.
Because I wouldn't have shouted that out across the ballroom. So
No, of course not. Of course not. In which case,
I misunderstood.
He
Ricky. I
is-
thought he crossed past and then walked over to me.
no,
realize he was
Archibald
still
was walking towards the Lord. So, unfortunately, they are in the
I will
way.
stand up though and walk up too though. I just if he's not next to me, I'll walk to meet.
Okay. And you walk to meet as you crossed and said what you said, but next to him, passing Archie, he doesn't stop you, of course. He doesn't in any way impede your progress.
Yes.
And
And I'll
as-
just try to link arms and be like, just don't say anything and you won't die.
What do you mean won't die? I've told you we can't have any of those things happening.
Yes, it would
I
be
can't have-
terrible. Perhaps we can
murder.
discuss the fences over here to the side where we wouldn't want to start a panic. Right? While everyone's so quiet.
There we go. I guess not, but
No, panic would be bad.
panic would be bad.
Yes.
God.
Let us think and
What do I
use
even
our
do here?
big
I mean, my
brain.
wife is upstairs dying, apparently.
She's not dying.
And I have
told
all
you
of my
she was
guests
dying.
sat here still staring at me in a creepy manner, which is not very polite, I must add, though they are very quiet. That much is
polite.
appreciated.
We're actually a part of this murder cult I told you about. See, there's this
cult?
vampire. You mentioned Lady Hart to me earlier. She's actually a vampire. And she wants to murder a lot of people in London, and I guess this was her way to do it. So I'm terribly sorry that she's using you to achieve her murder
What?
cult goals.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm very
I told
scared
you
and confused right
You
now.
might want to sit down because it is a lot to take in.
And I'm annoyed that you're right at that. The legs do feel weak.
Yes, here, have chair.
Thank you. He takes a seat and just sort of like, oh God. Oh, so what is this then? What's my purpose to play? Just don't hurt these people.
Your purpose from the evil vampire lady was to gather all of these people here to murder some strategic members. I am going to make sure you and your family are not included in those members, as I have just caught on to their evil scheme. So bad, terrible, no murder.
And as you say that, he kind of nods. Fine. Right, let's just get this over with.
I am only one person. And as far as I've been told, plans are already kind of going along. I'm not really certain how effective me as one individual would be trying to save everyone. So I am focusing my attentions on you and your family. So please sit in this chair. And if you can come up with a great brainy way to save people that doesn't cause panic, because if panic happens, it'll just be messier and more people will die than necessary, because panic does that. When I'm not sure how much war experience you have, but if you're like sieging an encampment and you're trying to kill strategic military members, you don't say, the Wallachians here to murder all your leaders, because then if the whole camp panics and many people die instead of just the few people that were planned to die. So this is from my extensive war history studies.
But you have very extensive ones, he says, as Archibald does approach closer. Lord Berkeley, we need to have a very quick and very swift conversation.
He's feeling a bit faint. I had him sit down. Please talk.
Very well. How about you go and get us some drinks, Magdalene?
Where's the nearest drink table? Is it within my hearing?
It's within your hearing. It's across the room.
Oh. But I still have some in my cup. I mean, if he had anything to drink right now, he might pass out. Blood thinners and all that.
Well, that's fine, but go get us a drink, please, dear.
Do you not want to have this conversation with me present, my dear?
No. There are some things that you do not need to involve yourself in. This is one of them. You know, as you always said, that you would let Papa take care of business.
Yes.
Let me take care of this business for you.
She gives him a look that clearly states, "Excuse you? How dare anyone compare themselves to the pinnacle that is my papa?"
Of course.
You do not wish to do this together? Fine. I'll get a drink, and I superhumanly fast get a drink, and I come back, and I don't even think I go to a drink table. I think I just take someone nearby's drink out of spite.
Okay, no problem. Could you give me a very quick coordination check, please?
Yes, I can. There's a guest with a drink, and I just. I'm gonna re-roll that one.
Understandable.
That is
understandable.
Poor. Better, 13.
Okay. You go, and you arrive back, and Archibald stands back straight. Thank you, dear. Drink. Thank you.
I'm not thirsty.
Very much am, he says, and sort of takes a drink. But it's done. He puts his drink to the side, and you do see Lord Berkeley looks very blank right now.
Oh, no.
And you do see a small prick on his palm, where there is blood currently slightly dotting out.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna look at Archie and gonna go look at the prick, and I'm looking through my notes so I get the name of this dagger right. Yep, I had it right. I go, where did you get the dagger of eternal bliss? Because it's a Romanian dagger. I can be like, that is a relic from my country.
I was going to give it you as a present once I had done the task at hand.
Oh. Well. Just take a sip of blood. Not really sure.
Take a sip. And Archibald smiles slightly. And it's about that time that the rest of you manage to make your way towards the door to downstairs. And you do see the figures in there. You see many of these nobles all stood to attention almost, all stood still, stock still, eyes trained forward like a very well-dressed wall in between you and the rest of the events going on. But you do hear the voices of Magdalena and Archibald and no one else.
Well, just remember, try, and kind of like look towards him. It would just be very bad if he died. It would cause.
Of course, my dear. I'm not intending for him to die. I've told you this, right. And I meant it.
Well, I'm just reinforcing that.
The rest could possibly go. They have no much more purpose to me, or some of them do. They'll be very useful in the morning to come, in the new year and age that's to come upon us in this forsaken city of ours we call the Metropolis. Don't worry, my dear, I won't bother your party much more. Yes, like what? He says as he sort of takes a drink of his drink.
You know, I was thinking maybe, do you like New Transylvania, New Wallachia? I'm torn.
How about you name it what you would like when you sit upon the throne?
Wit check him.
Sure, give a wit check.
I'm so paranoid. It's so bad. My cat is like, I'm concerned about you, Mother. You are having a lot of emotions right now. 15.
On a 15, and you too hear this as you make your way in and hear this very ominous exchange as you just caught the ooh. And he's telling the truth.
Okay. Well, I can't hate him. So I'll just be like, all right, fine. I'm just going to. And then I'm pretty sure I'd probably notice everyone entering at this time.
We're trying to be quiet.
I'm not.
I have dinner for your ears.
We were ahead of you.
We're ahead of you. Hear the door go, the very slight grinding of the metal upon wood. It's very light. If there was even any noise aside from just fucking silence in this room right now,
click, click, click,
you wouldn't have heard it.
Click, click. High heels.
But given that you hear that from down a hallway, you're very much broadcasted that there's people approaching.
I'll give him a peck on the cheek. Because I can't hate him for doing it.
Perhaps one of your friends is coming here.
Yes, I'm going to...
You go deal with them. I'll deal with this. We'll reconvene later at my manor.
Okay.
Lovely. I've got some brilliant
She just drinks the rest of her blood, and then I think she just puts it back in that person's empty hand from the drink she took, and then just goes to meet the rest of the group.
So you go towards the clicking of Delilah's heels, which is the main thing you're hearing, along with the door slightly opening. And you make your way to the back of the room, past the rest of the people stood still, past the young Lord Marriott sat in his chair still, very concerned, as you make your way to the door. And you do see in the distance, there is a Lady Berkeley walking down, but you don't see anybody else, despite the door being open slightly before you even got here. Perhaps it's the ghost again. For the other two stood behind the doors, you hear Magdalena at the door.
While we're
you hear Burley go, a ghost. Where's the salt?
While we're listening to that exchange, I'd like to take out my Christmas present from Doctor VerRuckt and begin loading my gun with it.
Okay.
As I give him a look, because I recognize Archibald's voice. And give him a nod.
Okay. Then the doctor then pulls the silver combat syringe out and draws the long trench knife.
I'm very confused. What is
2 weapons.
Yeah, on your side, Delilah, you just see Magdalena at the door like, oh, a ghost. Then you also see these two behind it drawing weapons and loading up.
I kind of look around. It's like, there's no ghost here. Magdalena, what's happening? I heard murmuring downstairs.
There's the door opened and there's no one here, so I assumed ghost.
No,
At that point, I think Tilly just walked in and just walks slightly. Try and just walk past Mr. Ville.
Oh,
Mr.
hi! So, I have things to tell you. Oh,
Mr. Ville?
okay. Does
yes.
it have to do with this horrible silence to my party?
Yeah, it won't be silent for long, I promise. But
And it's
yes.
about the time that you say that. The music does pick up again.
I just run
The
past
party
Mr. Ville.
seems to resume. You bump into her. She's
I
in
try
the
and
door.
get past.
I'm doing the whole
Mr. Ville,
like.
this is loaded with silver.
Yes.
If you don't move, it's going in your chest.
Well, that's
Where are you
rather
intending
rude.
to place it?
Where do you think?
I have no idea because I have told you guys nothing until I learned it all right now.
I have ears,
things to
Mr. Ville,
tell you.
and I also have eyes. As she says, as she looks around, please.
Don't kill
You-
Archie, please. He's
I will
doing
try not
so
to
good.
capacitate him. I will try. I will try. For you. I will try, Mr. Ville. I
You
do
don't
actually like.
understand the whole situation. It is because of that vampire bitch I talked about earlier. She is very rude and she's trying to do things and she's
Mr. Ville, we don't have time, and she'll just try and move past her because she's just stalling and she's not having any of it today.
I'm sorry, I'm not following any of this.
genuinely trying to get this, like, you don't understand. We're gonna get the dagger. We just gotta let some people die first. They're only people.
Everything we taught you is just not going in.
She's agreed to save some people. That's big progress for her. She doesn't want y'all
That
to
is.
die.
We're proud of you. We're proud of you. Very proud.
I'm going to try and slip by and just go to where I think the noise is going to begin.
If you
Look
just
for
let
Archie.
two people die,
Yeah,
we'll
all
have
of the
the
noises
dagger.
begin again. The party is back in full swing.
Is people moving again?
Yeah, people are back to normal. They're moving. They're partying again. They're
Do we
chatting.
see Archie?
Give me a wit check.
Perception?
Perception.
Great. So not just A7, +7. Whoop. 17.
You don't see him there.
I want to move into the room anyway.
You move past and walk into the room. It seems just as you left it, the party continuing. People eating and drinking, people chatting.
Did I see Mr. Marriott?
You did see
Who
Lord
was-
Marriott. He seems a bit uncomfortable. Whereas the rest have gotten back to it as if nothing happened. He's sat there very confused.
I'll go over to him. Mr. Marriott, did you see where that man went?
He left.
Where?
Away. He left. I don't know. He left.
Damn it.
Doctor VerRuckt stopped at Magdalena, and
Yes.
he's giving her the look like, you need to explain this. I guess he would say,
Please.
I am following Miss Griffith's lead. Explain as quickly as you can.
So Archie has the dagger of eternal bliss because his progenitor, that bitch, the Heart's evil family, I told you about them earlier, because she has control over him because she's his progenitor. I had no idea. And he will be free from her control. He just does one more thing for her, and that thing is supposed to be tonight, and then he will give us dagger, and we can give dagger to the museum. Just few people have to die. I mean, London's going to be shook up very soon anyway when Papa goes to talk with the Queen tomorrow. So, I mean, it's really just let it happen.
The doctor does not
Magdalena?
laugh.
Magdalena, do you mind lending me an arm?
Of course. She'll take an arm. I was going to stab him because I was very mad, but then I got to talking with him, and it turns out he's just doing all of this so that he can be with me, because his mother is a It's horrible. I can't even think of all the English words I would use to describe her.
So then, maybe he should have confided in you, and we would have helped him. As he's brandishing literally a needle, a silver needle full of silver nitrate, and a big trench knife. It's like, I believe that you.
Is that the sound Magdalena makes when he raises the needle?
Yes, basically. She's like, I'll kill him. He's just trying to be so good. He's even talking about how we should kill her after he is free from her.
All right.
I think I might faint.
I will not let anything happen to Miss Griffith. So, hopefully.
Yes. I asked him, I said, can you not kill these people I like? And he said, of course not. You like these people. They will live. So, I checked in.
I'm going to check on that. I kind of just like push past Magdalena. I get past my faintness and I'm going to go.
He's a little vacant right now, but his speech went beautifully.
Wait, what do you mean? I quickly like pick up my skirts and like, hastily but gracefully make my way down the stairs to go like push past her.
Turned around for 2 seconds and he got poked with the dagger of eternal bliss, but he should be fine.
Do not hear
You hear that as you're pushing past?
And the doctor is keeping an eye on Magdalena, but also
She's
making sure
very.
Tilly is
You can
still
see
there.
emotions just roiling. She is feeling 12 different things, and she doesn't know how to feel about any of it. Stupid attachment to humans.
Where's Ned?
You go towards the middle of the party, and Ned's there. He's sad. He's socializing right now, and he turns to you and smiles. It's good to see you're okay.
Yes, my darling. I'll lightly place a hand on his cheek and like look in his eyes. Does he seem normal?
Give me a very quick wit check. You can have a +2.
Yeah, this is for the love of my life. This is fine. Okay. Come on. Please let me actually put things in. There we go. 18.
An 18. He looks normal. He acts normal. He sounds normal, but the slight look in his eye is different. I'm so happy to see you're safe. Fills me with such joy. Please, we should make a second speech, one with you in it, and less with Magdalena. Your own speech was good, but not quite the same as coming from your own.
Thank you, darling.
You're more than welcome. It's so good to see you, and safe and alive. I was so worried.
Well, there's no need. The doctor is a very wonderful and capable physician.
Oh, the doctor is, yes. The doctor is brilliant.
But I don't think I'm in the mood for speeches, my darling.
Very well. I mean, you must have gone through such traumatic events. I understand if you must take the night off, but I have a party to run.
Yes. She will... She just kind of, fakes a smile and will give his hand a squeeze.
He smiles back quite happily.
That's not my Ned. My Ned has social anxiety, and she's gonna go sit and just take a drink and drink like deeply.
As you pick a cup up and take a drink, your mouth is filled with a strange taste. A very thick liquid and slightly irony. You have blood rush into your mouth.
She immediately takes out one of her handkerchiefs and just
What?
And look at who she takes
wine
it
not
from.
for your liking?
Who's saying this to me?
Your husband.
My love.
Yes.
since when did you consider blood of fine vintage? I know you English have this weird blood sausage thing, but
Since we've fit the new fitting.
the new fitting.
Yes.
What do you mean?
And on that note, upstairs, Miss Fairchild.
Give me a second to just rein in the emotion. Okay. Yes!
So many emotions.
So many emotions!
Miss Fairchild upstairs, finding the room for the children is where you were going, I believe. Good. So you find the room, you find the door, you knock, it opens, and Teddy is at the door and looks up and goes, ah, and then simply steps aside to let you in.
I believe you ought to be in bed.
We
the
were,
big door.
then you were at the door.
Asleep.
smiles.
I generally don't wake those I come to.
And then you're at the door.
And I just walk past him. He's tiny.
Yeah, you walk past. You see Havelock, he's still stood, like loads of books around his bed and stuff. He's got a couple toys nearby. They've got a half-finished game of checkers.
I think it's rather time you get back into bed then, my lord.
Of course, yes. Will do.
Havelock, bed.
Oh. Fine.
She just stands there like, yeah, come on.
But it's not even New Year yet.
And when was the last time you were allowed to stay up until midnight?
And I thought maybe tonight would be different, given it was New Year.
It's been New Year every year since you were born, and before then even. Get into bed then.
Kind of gets into
She
bed.
just like
and
scoots
kinda
them
groans
both
at you.
over to bed.
And
It's alright. They have an experimental torch and lots of books. This is fine.
Fine.
Miss
Well, I hope you
Havelock
enjoy
is
your
the
party.
most gothic Mary Poppins ever, as she just like tucks them both into bed, and it's like hospital corners tucked as well, so it's just like trapped in bed.
You're gonna deprive them of
You do
like
so.
the book tent?
Have you met Miss Fairchild?
And you deprive them of the book tent.
She's looking at them going, you are so lucky you have beds and not like a crate to sleep in. Tuck them into their feather
And you
bed.
sort them out.
Mhm.
And there's still the silence downstairs until you begin to hear activity again, as if nothing had happened. Looks like the party's come back on, says Theodore.
It seems so. I imagine there was speech making.
He nods. Yes, Papa made such a good speech. It was a very good one this year. He looked not as uncomfortable as always, but very worried.
I wasn't aware you were awake for the speech. I must have a word with your mother about bedtime.
I was in bed.
Your father projects quite well then, with his face, apparently, since you saw what he looked like.
His face projects rather well, Miss Fairchild, says Teddy again and smiles. Though you can tell that he's straining.
Is this the strain of small children who definitely crept downstairs to hear the speeches?
Not definitely crept downstairs.
Very likely crept
They
downstairs.
definitely didn't leave the room. They're not lying.
Does your father often practice his speeches for you?
Yes, every day, Miss Fairchild. Every day.
That's very sweet. I'm sure you'll
He
be
is-
excellent at
he's-
making your own one day. And she's just like tucking his bed and is just like absently like petting Havelock's hair, just like looking at Teddy like, why are you the way that you are? Because she's not really around children much apart from her own strange little Tim Burton creation.
Of course. and Teddy continues to sort of stay where he is as he sort of rolls over slightly and sort of shifts something a bit. Tries to play it off.
And she'll just kind of stare at him for a moment before being,
Stare at his back.
my lord, do you have something there you shouldn't have? Yes. Havelock, can you tell me what Lord Theodore is hiding by any chance?
He continues to breathe softly.
Sweetheart,
Aw,
Oh my god.
Don't make me betray my friends, Mom. I just made some.
Is it something that's going to worry me, love?
No.
Mm-hmm. You've been doing something you oughtn't have.
I mean, not oughtn't have. Been reading. Wasn't he? Teddy was the one.
Right.
Seeing his dad's irritated face.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of just pets Havelock's hair and will get up and walk around Teddy's bed and sit down on the other side and just put her hands in her lap.
And Teddy kind of like keeps his eyes closed and then opens one.
I think
good
it's
evening,
time you
Miss
tell me
Fairchild.
exactly what you've been doing. And you're not going to get in any trouble from me. You outrank me by quite a large margin.
That's a good point.
But I would quite like to know what you've been doing in a room with my son. And she kind of leans in, and she's not very good with small children. This is definitely the kind of tack she'd take to intimidate an adult, because she's not good at judging other people's kids.
Fine, he says and sits up. Fine. So I got bored when I used to sit here and research all the time, and I always said that when I was always secluded in here doing my studies that I needed to check the rest of the place. For example, if we have guests and I need to be downstairs, I need to know, but none of the servants will come get me. So I asked Papa, and he made a little thing.
And this little thing allows you to see downstairs into the ballroom.
Yes, he says, and steps out, and then just sort of like pulls a bit of carpet away, and then lifts up a floorboard, and you see a little, almost what looks like a little telescope lens that seems to lead in to a tube. Mostly works with just mirrors. Mostly.
Gonna lean down, and I'm going to look with my good eye, and then just on the off chance, I'm going to look with my spookum eye.
And you look with your good eye, and as you look down, you see sort of a not perfect image. It is quite difficult to fully focus in on it, but you can see the ballroom. At the moment, you can just see where the speech was taking place. The stage area is sort of highlighted, but you can, it seems, turn it so that it can view other parts of the room. And you do see that the party has continued as you look down. And you see Lady Delilah sort of make her way just to the periphery of where the vision ends, before taking a drink of something and going, ugh, and wiping her face.
Kind of mutters, just like, wrong year, I suppose.
See?
And
it's nothing bad.
Apparently not. Your father has quite a terrifying mind, and I mean that in the most complimentary sense.
His mind most terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, that's what Ma says.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she's right.
Only brilliant.
Yes.
It's a game to play. Play a lot of games.
I'm sure you do.
No, I meant them.
Oh. Right. Anyway, and she just stands up like, Kane's just like pushing
What's that
herself
mean? He says as he kind of sees you do that face.
I know nothing more than you do on this point. Trust me on that. Now back into bed with you. Thank you for showing me, Lord Barclay.
Fine.
I won't tell anyone.
Thank you, Miss Fairchild.
And
you truly are the saint that my mother says you are.
I am sure your mother has never called me a saint.
Maybe once, he says, and sort of tucks himself in.
You may have been mishearing. And she'll tuck him back in hospital corners and kind of very weirdly, clinically kind of brush his hair back and give him a kiss on the forehead. And then we'll go over and do the same to Havelock.
Smiles.
Yeah.
And then Havelock smiles at you as well as the two settle down.
Right, now. Please go to sleep. No more reading. You can read in the morning when it's appropriate.
Fine.
And she'll just stand by the door for a second and look at them both, knowing full well that as soon as she leaves, they will probably both get back out of bed.
100%.
But it's
you see them
so
sort of even look over their shoulder slightly
she's
and
kind
then
of
go
looking
back.
at them like, if nothing else, please don't leave the room. Good night,
Not planning
boys.
on it. We're going to sleep.
Yes. She just closes the door steps out. Just like
the moment the door closes, you can hear the shifting of sheets inside as they immediately try and pull themselves out of your quilted nightmare that you've placed them in. But meanwhile, you're in the hall. The door is safely locked as you hear the bolt on the other side lock in place.
trifle excessive, but all right. Thinking it's the boys, so it's like, okay. And then I will head back down to the party and try and find someone else.
And you head back down towards the party. And Delilah, Magdalena, VerRuckt, Tilly, the rest of you in the room.
Delilah. Waiting on an answer.
You soon after see the fixture. There is what is a small fountain that it sometimes is used for chocolate and things such as this. That is sort of partly impaled through the back of the throat and spine of one of the ladies who is there.
Yeah, she grips like the arm of her chair.
You see some of the guests are sort of placing their glasses over the little curves of the fountain and getting some glasses quite filled before they get back to their conversation where they drink and act completely normal.
Yeah, she very keeping her smile plastered on because, you know, in the face of adversity, you must be grateful. My heart, do you see what is wrong with this picture? Just like hands tight.
What picture?
The dead body on our fondue fountain.
Oh.
The one you got for me for chocolate.
Well, I didn't put it there.
And she kind of looks at him, and you're not feeling faint at all? You know, your usual aversion to any... No?
No, I'm feeling quite hungry, actually.
Of course you are, dear.
Got any finger food?
Well, our chef did prepare some really excellent ones. I hope he's not doused with blood. Would make a horrific sauce.
He is good with his black puddings, though.
I'll give him that. Now, my dear.
The rest of you do see this. It's quite the scene.
Oh! I mean, oh!
And the doctor had taken the trench knife and turned the blade in along his arm and tucked that up and tucked his other arm under. So it just looks like he's got his arms folded. And and he kind of looks at Magdalena and like nods like, let's go.
I mean, we can get the drink shot. I mean, look, one down, only a few more to go. No one seems to be worried about picking it.
And you notice the doctor does not care about the body and the blood at all. It's like that can happen all at once. Tilly, Ned, Delilah Berkeley, and eventually Mrs. Fairchild are really all he cares about here.
We should probably stick to the outside edges of the room, though, just in case. You know, not mingle too much. I think she says that, and then she walks a few more steps. She goes, I couldn't stab him. He was being too nice. And I had doubted him so. And just stops at the fondue, fills up a glass, and then...
She's feeling right along with it. And check if the woman is still alive at all.
Yeah.
Whether she's very dead.
Oh no, I didn't.
She is, as you hear like a gurgling noise come through her, she goes, please help yourself.
Oh my God. Doctor, she's still alive. Please.
She doesn't seem to mind.
No, it's fine. We need to eat.
This is obviously
we have
fatal.
So much and you have so little.
I'm not wrong.
This is obviously
this is
like
not
it's a miracle they're alive.
It's not time to discuss classism right now, okay? I understand there's a problem here, but this is more of a problem right now. And she looks around to see if there's any other people that are acting very strange, like they're going to impale themselves on things.
No, they seem to be acting normal. They come for refills now and then.
Can you at least get them off, Dr. VerRuckt, so I
You
can
see a few
destroy
of
this?
them. There's one of the servants going around very blank-eyed with a plate full of fingers that they seem to be delivering to people who are taking them and chewing them.
Are they?
Why are the Addams Family New Year's? Why?
And
That's a bit much.
the doctor begins to move around the table, but he's like cupped your elbow to like pull Tilly with him, and he's speaking very quietly. He's like, taking this away from them may cause a frenzy, but if you want, I will still try to save this woman.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, Dr. VerRuckt.
As she's saying this, I'm kind of marching up to them. Do you too see what I'm saying?
Yes. And I don't know what to do about it. Besides find that wretched little fucker and go and put a silver bullet through his heart and take that bloody dagger off of him.
Well, I thought I was just going to have strong words with him, but I like yours better.
No, I'm going to kill him. Look at what he's done.
I do believe your course of action is the correct one, Miss Griffith.
Oh, they're eating each other's fingers. It's
These
disgusting.
These people cannot be saved. Let us try to find this Archibald. And he looks at Magdalena like, where's your Archie?
Magdalena, surely you see this is wrong.
Oh, actually, I'm going to. I'll be right back. And she's going to go over to Lord Marriott.
Lord Marriott sat there. He's kind of waving away the finger food politely.
Yeah, she'll.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Can you walk with me, Lord Marriott? Walk with me. Yes.
And she goes with you with quite a movement.
Yeah, well, she'll basically walk towards the exit.
Lord Berrybottom cut off his own fingers and said, help yourselves.
Yes. Do you know how I told you a little bit about the work I'm doing? And some of it involves some rather strange supernatural things. This is one of those things. I need you to do something for me, all right? I need you to go and get the police so they can at least try and contain people, because if I do it, it's going to be very messy.
He looks around. I think you're late for that, honestly.
There's still people here. They're not all dead yet.
Very well. I'll contact the police.
And it's
very
an
well.
excuse to get away before they start eating your fingers.
Oh,
Mr.
no.
Marriott.
They wouldn't do that. They only ate the ones that were offered up. I'm not giving them mine.
Great. Well, can you please go and get the police so no one's eating each other's fingers, drinking each other's blood, and who's know what else? All right? Be safe.
Well, okay, but I don't know what the police are going to do.
Hopefully just get here and at least have a look and maybe capture people and restrain them from doing anything ridiculous and disgusting.
Okay, I'll go and see if I can find someone. He says and gets going. A servant comes over. Finger?
Have you got anything else that's not part of a human body?
Yes, we also have cheese. He offers you some assorted cheeses. They are actually just assorted cheeses. We also have vegetarian options, ma'am, if you would prefer.
Ah, right. Perhaps this whole party should go vegetarian.
No, they are very much enjoying the steak.
No, thank you, you brainwashed idiot.
Very rude, he says and turns and leaves before offering more fingers to people.
Actually, wait. She'll just take the fingers and bag them up and put them in a pocket.
Greedy, he says, but continues on.
Oh no, wait. If she takes the fingers away, they'll just cut off more. No, she puts them back. Oh no, this is terrible. I need to get out of
fine.
here.
We're working on some more. You can have them. He says.
No,
And
I don't want them.
you see Lord Periwinkle, who's got no fingers
I'll
right now, but he's like got his
grab her
toes on the
elbow.
table, and there's like another one who's just cutting into them.
I will literally grab her elbow and escort her and the young lord out and look back over his shoulder at Magdalena like,
I'm following those guys like, oh.
And
You
when
see,
Delilah said,
Lord
"Do you
Berrybottom
not see
doesn't
what's wrong with
make
this?"
any noises. He's just kind of smiling and goes, "Hello."
Magdalena would have responded with, "I mean, it's a bit dramatic. I haven't seen anything like this in a good 400 years."
Yeah, I think at this point, Dr. VerRuckt, you notice that Tilly's eyes are looking like kind of glazed and straightforward, and like if you let go of her, she just stops moving.
Okay. Yep.
Looks around, she can't see you.
Right, and that's why I'm not stopping until I've gotten those two the hell out of here.
Yeah, you
and
get
because
out
I
of a
hear
horrifying scene.
I hear Delilah behind me, so I'm like, okay, thank goodness. And I was hoping
Yeah,
that
I'm
Ned
babbling.
would be with her.
No, he's not.
So who are
He's
you taking
my
outside? By the way, Miss Fairchild, you've made your way down. You see the scene.
I
You
wave.
see Mr.
Good
Berrybottom
evening.
sort of just having a time as he waves to you. and goes, Good evening.
I just immediately look up to try and find where that sodding periscope is.
You don't see it. It's sealed, it seems. They've gone back to their playing of checkers.
I'll quietly say, retrieve the boys and exit the manor.
Miss Fairchild gives you a look like, well, yes! And we'll just turn around and walk back the way she came.
Yeah, you walk away.
She's got
bring
buff
Gabriel,
pie, she's carrying her canes.
Actually, no, I'll come with you, Miss Fairchild. I need you, Gabriel.
Okay. So you
Do I
go
want to know
past
what that
the
was?
macabre scene and you manage to collect the boys and Gabriel. There is a back entrance that is now opened.
I also need my keys. Can I grab my keys for like the master keychains for the entire thing? Just because
Yeah,
I don't want
forgot
them
my
to.
keys.
Yeah, very much so. If we're gonna flee,
have
I
your
don't
keys
want
on
Ned.
you.
Cool. Yeah, that's okay. She'll
Ned has
she'll,
his
like,
keys.
Yeah, but I don't trust him. He's mind controlled. I'll be like,
That's fine, but he
darling,
has
do you
his
mind
own
if we step
keys.
out for a moment?
It is your home?
Yes. I would like to get my husband over. Darling, do you mind coming with us?
Oh, of course, yes. Yes, I can come with you. I'm sure the party can continue on its own. I'm not really meant to get involved anyway. I apparently don't have much of an appetite.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
And Magdalena looks at Dr. VerRuckt like,
delightful.
"See, I helped. I did something." She gives him that
So, my
look.
darling, we should really start thinking about your
Yes.
properties back in America.
Why? I mean, I have a few left, though, of course, Delilah. but-
Yes, and after this, if it gets out, we're probably ruined, so we might want to get on that soon. Yes?
Why be rude? It's the great party. Everybody's so happy.
She like looks back, gips a little, and looks at him like, oh, so just a moment, please. Do you mind standing very still, dear? Close your eyes. I have a surprise for
will
you.
stand as still as you ever need me to, for I love you.
Oh my goodness.
But he closes his eyes and
Yeah.
stays
I
very
love
still,
that.
like a statue.
And then I'll go and whisper quite quietly over to like specifically Doctor VerRuckt, Miss Fairchild,
Yes,
and
that's it,
Magdalena.
yes.
Can one of you punch my
Like
husband
a
and knock him out?
statue.
I am like already out the door
I
with a
could.
child on each hip. I
Yeah,
am
you
not
got a child on
stopping.
each hip, closed out,
Yeah,
and
I'll
roll
have-
out.
I'm just
I'll
gone.
ask one of those two, just like
You see a very
actually,
still
no, the doctor
Ned.
has
He's like a
Tilly.
statue of Ned.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got
no, Dr.
Tilly,
VerRuckt has
she's
Tilly,
got her
so-
dog, and,
Yeah, she's kind of tonic, so.
Does someone need knocking out?
I mean,
Teddy.
I'm pretty sure he would just go to sleep if you asked him to right now.
I don't
Just-
know. I'm
can I
liking
just-
being awake. I feel so alive.
Mhm.
I just ruffle in my bag for a second and bring out a pair of handcuffs and hand them over to Miss Berkeley.
Oh, well, this is
Oh,
familiar.
Oh, hush now, dear. We're not supposed to sort of say this in public.
Not what I use them. Wait,
I see. Yes, of course. I am a statue,
Yes,
says the
good.
very addled lord.
I'll look at Magdalena now, and if you please do mind knocking him out without hurting him,
I-
and help me drag
I
him away.
made sure he would not get involved really much. He is lucky, but yes, I can. Yes, doctor.
The doctor says, Miss Griffith, can you stand by yourself
Yes.
for one
yes,
moment?
I can. I just can't see, but I can stand.
All right, fine. And I'll just clock him.
Oh, the doctor was halfway there.
Sure,
Okay.
give me
Not for
quick
the
damage.
Okay.
Don't kill my husband, please.
Yeah. I do have improved knockout.
Mhm. Yeah, so,
So-
if you roll a high number, he will go down. Basically, you won't kill him.
so I
with
don't
the
wanna-
knockout blow.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I took improved knockout,
won't
because you
do
don't want
that.
to kill your food. So, and it'd be my damage is vitality,
Oh.
right?
Mhm.
Because it's
Please.
unarmed. Oh, I drank blood. Sorry about this, dude. It's gonna hurt.
Doc dude.
21.
Yeah, he goes out like a light.
Yeah, but he's not dead because I have improved knockout.
It's
And
like
the
I am a
doctor.
statue, a loving statue, and then you hit him in the head, and he just goes
Like I
down.
hit him like in the right spot. Like I've done this a lot of times. Like just
Yeah, you've done it a
knocked
lot. You knock him out
Like stunning
immediately. As the
tackle.
Lord kind of flops to the ground.
out.
Into
And
the
I'll
mud.
even catch him. I'll even like try to catch him underneath as I do so. Like, see, he's fine.
Thank
He's
you.
asleep now.
You know, I
And the
do
doctor's
feel
like-
quite distressed, and I feel like a scream is going to be bubbling up soon. We should probably keep moving to keep me distracted.
And if
Okay.
you would have asked him, he would have just walked out with us. Now we carry him.
That's what I thought.
No, I was
But-
afraid if he decided to, I don't know, do any other orders.
And it's about that time that the police arrive, as you see
Oh,
multiple
leaving out the
police
back.
officers.
We're leaving out the back.
I was looking for a carriage to tuck the boys into, and I am waiting with the
Carriages
getaway carriage.
Are in the front end, but the back end has one small gate. You do see the police beginning to
Who
funnel
called the
in to the
police?
front.
Not
Oh
me.
my goodness,
I am
we're
not that
ruined.
Stupid.
I'm
Oh,
heading out the back gate with a child on each
yeah,
hip.
I
I'm
look
not
accusingly like
stopping.
everyone else. Like, who called the police?
I would never.
Says
Who
Magdalena,
could that
your husband
possibly
flopping
be?
around in her arms.
I would never call police for anything.
The doctor, just at the mention of police, like rolls his eyes, like, yeah.
This is awful. All right, so let's leave now that my house is being raided by police, and they're gonna find that. Oh, the scandal. She kind of just. Okay, let's walk.
Yes, just keep breathing. Like that'll be fine.
Miss Berkeley, but as soon as Mr. Berrybottom began cutting off his fingers and feeding it to people, there was going to be a scandal.
And the doctor
Let's
takes,
not think about
takes
that
the
right
Lady
now.
Delilah's arm. So now he's got one on each arm, and like, oh my god. It's-
And Magdalena has a to-go cup
It's not
in
even
her free
funny,
hand.
my love.
That's not supporting the doctor.
I guess at some point as we're getting them into the carriage, the doctor
We
gives
don't
Mag
have a
the-
We
carriage.
don't have a carriage.
Oh, don't have a
gets to the
carriage.
gate.
I
Larkin's
thought we
in
had a
front
carriage. We don't
if
have a
he's
carriage.
still
You're at the back
possessed.
gate where you could walk through
Miss
the streets
Fairchild
of
is
Upland.
How walking away with a child on
Yeah.
the ship.
I do think that we could perhaps go to Mr. Marriott's place. It's very close
It's
by.
right next door.
Yes, that would be so much safer.
So you can then say you took refuge from the strange events and still answer the police's questions. And Mr. Marriott is in his right mind. Still, I hope.
If I can hear that, there's just like the call back on the wind from, the struggling person up ahead, just like, and perhaps I could change my clothes before we talk to the police.
That would be good.
Yes.
I'll kind of have a look to make sure my kid is walking quite fine and not staring behind him or didn't see anything.
He's
Is he
being
okay?
carried. I'm carrying
Oh,
both of them.
okay.
I presumed they were just like, we're just going to walk now. Keep your heads down, children.
Yeah,
This is-
they keep
this is
their
like
heads
full
down and go
fireman
with you.
carriage. It's like,
And hearing upon the name Lord Marriott, the young Lord Theodore does kind of go, "Oh, are we heading to Lord Marriott's house?"
apparently
Yes,
so.
we
Would
are
you
too.
please hang
Go
on a
sleep
little
over.
tighter? Thank you.
Yes, of course.
I'll knock on the door to the Marriott place.
Knock on the door, and the door opens, and a rather dour-looking servant opens the door as the sort of very lumbering, old, very long-bearded man looks out towards you. Yes,
Hello. Has Lord Marriott been home yet?
yes,
Is he in right now?
yes.
Right. Do know this one.
May we see him?
No.
Okay.
Is in distress.
Yes. We know.
Yes.
Gone through something very similar, and we'd like to
Yes.
meet up and talk about it. Please, can you go and fetch him, at least? Or let us
Now
in.
that you have manners, yes. He says and opens the door for you. Please is, of course, a magic word. Come in.
Who are you?
That
Where's
is not
Chelsea?
important.
Sorry, Miss Ballroom.
Do I recognize him at all?
Do I get anything off my spookum eye? Because I don't like him.
You do. He
Yeah.
looks a bit strange on your spookum eye. But you recognize him,
I'm-
Delilah. The servant's been with the household since at least the older lord passed. It's a very old
Okay.
man.
Yeah, okay.
I'm keeping
okay.
everyone between me and him.
Cool, yeah, she'll nod and give him a little, like a polite wave. Good evening. She'll kind of peek out from behind her entourage.
Good evening, Lady Berkeley.
Yes.
Are you
No.
well? Have you been getting enough sun?
Not quite, no. But, is...
That's good, as we don't get much here. Clouds always too thick. Are they
Yes,
not?
I've noticed. Yes, of course. It's rather dreadful weather, though. Right now it's a bit cold. Do you mind letting us in?
I already have. You just
he's actually,
need
like,
to walk. He says as he still stood with the door open.
Oh, okay.
yes,
I'll
make
just
my
walk
way in.
straight in.
You're not going to wake your master, or shall we?
Oh, no, we'll do that. You go to the waiting room. I will see to it that his personal maids are notified, and then he will come in his own time.
Do I see a pinprick on this dude?
No.
Okay.
And your
Should've
name is
specified.
what, sir? What is your name, sir?
Gary.
Mr. Gary.
I also just accept Gary. But Mr. Gary is respectable, and I respect that.
Yes. Right, Mr. Gary. Well, if you kindly fetch your master, and we'll go and wait in the waiting room. Thank you. Good lord. And
He does say he walks off.
Tilly knows where the waiting room is. She'll just head on over there with Gabriel.
It's only one of the first rooms that you're in anyway, as you're taken into a side room. It's got some nice waiting chairs, a set of tea that is served for you all. It's a rather nice time.
Is it warm? Is there a fire?
It's warm. The fire is lit by a servant as you enter.
Okay, I'm gonna take the children over to the fire because Victorian bedclothes not warm at all. So I'm just gonna take them over to the fire and literally just like kneel down and keep them next to me. Just priorities.
And soon after Gary returns, the large lumbering man opens the door and looks in, leaning down slightly to look through the door. The Lord will see you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Gary.
You're welcome.
Right, boys, up we get.
Okay. And you do bring them back up. Still, Lord Berkeley continues to just kind of lounge about as they're still KO'd wherever you've placed them, Magdalena. And soon after Lord Berkeley walks into the room,
I think she would have laid him nicely on a couch.
you lay him on a couch nicely. He kind of lounges out and just seems to be asleep for anybody who wouldn't know any better. And the young lord
I'll even
does
position
enter the
him
room.
a little bit so he looks extra like asleep.
Oh, he looks extra asleep as you make him look like sleeping human. You think that might be a good
Yes.
painting? Inspiration. And about that time,
Still vulnerable.
the young lord arrives in the room and sort of walks behind where Gary was and through the door. As he's dressed fully and immaculately again, he doesn't look shaken as before, and sort of nods at you all. Good evening. Welcome to my household. What can I do for all of you?
Tilly will stand and curtsy. I'm sorry to call on you, Mr. Marriott, but the police have obviously come next door, and if we're not being impetuous, we'd probably like to seek refuge here for the night.
You can seek refuge. That's fine by me. The police will be raiding the other Berkeley estate anyway for a while, and it looks like you have Lord and Lady Berkeley here. They're not going to try and eat people, are they?
I believe before we discuss the particulars of the evening, perhaps I could request a room. And she kind of just like lifts the two small children, like, hello, not talking about dead people right now.
Mr. Gary will see it to their room if you wish. Mr. Gary, if you could get one on the upper floor, perhaps the attic room would be suitable for them. Of course.
One with very secure windows, please.
That's why I said the attic room, Miss Tilly.
Thank you.
No
And
matter.
I will head towards Mr. Gary because
They're
Mr. Gary
fine.
sort of looks
They're
over to you
safe.
and nods at you and sort of helps guide them away and goes, they will be safe.
I don't like them going to a room that I don't know where it is. I'm just going to look back at... Yeah, but big house. I don't know how to get there.
It is a big house.
And I don't like Mr. Gary. I'm going to look back at Miss Griffiths and kind of, it's a case of like, do you need me here for this? Am I necessary for this?
Do I notice her being super uncomfortable with Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the children and just like.
Yeah, I'll
just
gently kind of like place an arm on her shoulder, like, it's okay, Miss Fairchild. Gary has been with the Marriotts since, well, the previous Lord Marriott, maybe even before that.
Indeed.
I look at Miss Barclay and look at Magdalena and look back at Miss Barclay. That is not as comforting as you might imagine it to be.
I think that Magdalena, sensing
He's
Miss
done a
Fairchild's
fantastic
distress, she's going to try to make eye contact with Gary.
You make eye contact with Gary.
Gary! And she's going to try to use her vampiric brain stuff to see, because if he isn't able to be that, he might be either a Dampier himself or one of Archibald's, because that was how it was with his servant. And just be like,
Yeah, of course.
perhaps you could show Miss Fairchild up to the room and then back down so she feels more safe and secure about all of this. 16.
16. He kind of nods at you. Very well.
And I pick both children back up. Lead the way,
Follow
Mr.
me.
Gary.
And Mr. Gary leads the way. His footsteps
I
thundering
I
through
believe
the
in
house
Miss
as he
Fairchild.
makes his way away.
I shall
You're
leave
taken
my
up to the
child
attic
with Miss
room
Fairchild.
quite swiftly. They wind you up some stairs, go through a couple of connecting rooms, unlock a couple on the way, and then take you up to a pull-down set of stairs, which they gesture to go up and lead you upstairs. And inside the attic is indeed a small room with a toy chest, a dresser, which seems to be full of different clothing, of different costumes, and a couple of beds. And no windows.
I tuck both the boys into bed. Just a bit of nonsense. It'll be over in the morning. Now, are there any books in the room? Looking around.
There aren't.
I'll see about maybe sending some books up, but try and get some sleep. And,
Right.
you know, don't open the door for anyone that isn't me or your mother. Havelock?
Okay.
No one but me. All right?
All right.
Good night, boys. And I will
Good
tuck
night.
them into bed again with the hospital corner.
You do so again.
And then I will wait for Mr. Gary to leave first, and then I will leave.
Yeah, Mr. Gary's waiting for you, so he can go with you and then pull back up the stairs. It's quite some height that he needs to pull those up, so he waits until you're off and then lifts it back up to the top.
What a peculiar room. Anyway,
Indeed. Let us go back to the room, he says, and
After
starts
you-
walking.
I will follow him.
You follow him down. He takes you downstairs again, and the rest of you, meanwhile, you've had some tea delivered in the time. You've had a few biscuits arrive in the time, and Miss Fairchild arrives back. Now that Miss Fairchild is back, perhaps we can begin our conversation.
Indeed.
He
Well,
says,
first
and
of all,
takes
I
a
would
sip
like
of
to
tea.
reassure you, Lord Marriott, that I'm in full possession of my faculties, and I do not condone what happened at the party. I'm very deeply sorry.
I see. Only it happened in your estate, on yours and your lord's purview.
I understand. I would hope that our history of other parties would not, well,
With all due
would at least
respect,
reflect
Lady
something.
Berkeley, I think the matter of our other parties were great, but this one, our guests ate each other, sort of overshadows it. Was it not?
She nods. I don't know how I'm going to get us out of this mess.
Well, there's a few ways, but mostly I would say you're going to be in for a great scandal, and I'd also say that you're probably going to be in a lot of trouble with the law. Which you only just were until recently when you came back.
She nods. Yes, how very familiar. Back to troubled waters I go.
There is a way. You could say that you were here for the evening, that your house was overtaken by strange peoples, and so you ran here. Mr. Gary saw you and let you in, where he gave you shelter at my behest, and you stayed here until the morning and fled your house. Of course, I told the police as soon as you arrived at this house, not having attended myself due to a stomachache. He takes a sip of tea.
I would applaud you if I actually, I would. Goodness.
Thank you.
No wonder Ned speaks so highly of you.
I have a few things I'm good at, and one of them is covering things up. Our family's very good at that.
I'm sure.
More so than you'd know. He says and kind of looks a little bit like, yeah.
Miss Fairchild has an expression on her face which is just class war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sat there like, this is not surprising at all to me.
Yeah, basically.
I'm just sat there like, oh, yes. You know, the more I learn, the more I realize there's so much to learn about this whole nobility thing.
There is, yes. Lots I still even need to learn. But
droll after a while.
Sure, but you can have shelter here until the morn, at which point your house will no doubt be cleared by then. And of course, you will be able to have some of our servants help you clean the place if need be.
That would be very appreciated, thank you.
Of course.
Yes, why bother about traumatizing servants? I mean, it's irreplaceable.
My servant could help. We'd be more than happy to help you clean up this mess.
I have a few from the war times.
Re-traumatizing, so much better, clearly.
I'm sorry, is the Mourners Guild going to come and clean up the mess?
She doesn't answer, she just stares at him.
My
the young
servant will
boy
come
sort
and
of
help.
sits
I
back.
will
And
let-
I
will
am
let her
disconcerting,
know.
so you feel like disturbed.
He does, but he's used to disturbing people. Still, it is... Whatever was happening there, it was horrifying.
It's a lot of nods, just like going a little bit paler.
Quite.
But you will need to have your wits about you in order to give a clear case that supports this. I will leave it to you. I won't be questioned. I am a child, after all. Lord, perhaps, but not yet respected enough to be interrogated.
Yes. Thank you.
But until
kind
the
of glance
point
over at
of
Ned.
which you can return home, you may stay here. Ned is just conked out still. He is out cold.
Mm-hmm.
He will
Yeah,
be
I
out
just
for
kind of
a
like-
while.
That is good. Hopefully, do you think that the effects will wear off over time, or is that not something that would ever happen?
I think they will. I'm sure it won't be a problem.
I just realized something.
Yes?
She just kind of frowns. Sorry about this tangent, but I'm gonna go over and look at the little like prick on Ned's arm or hand, whatever it was. And then after like a few moments deliberation, she frowns again. Oh no.
Oh no.
Nouns, verbs, anything?
Well, I'm a bit worried now, you see.
No.
Do you remember how I had a certain freeloader at the house?
Yes. Oh yes.
Wasn't he also cut by something similar?
Yes.
And it's as you say, yes.
I knew knew I should have killed him.
In the distance, yet somehow below you, you hear a ear-shattering ring of a bell.
Oh.
Do I know this? Anything about?
And as the new year rings in, and as the final bell tolls from Old London and New London alike, and the last bell syncs up perfectly to ringing the new year, you hear a massive explosion of noise from below.
From below the house or below, like, lower London?
From below the upper city.
Oh.
The lower city.
As you feel almost an earthquake through the entire household, objects falling off the sides, the entire place rocking and ricketing, dust kicked up from places, the flames flicking out slightly until it stops.
Bad plan.
Go and check on the children, Miss Fairchild.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then it all calms again. What was
I
that?
stopped by the door.
Says the young
I'll
woman.
look out the window. And I go.
Yeah.
You look out the window, and as you do, everything's fine in Upper London. You see a lot of the nobility are cuffed and are being led out of the house, being loaded into various paddy wagons, which they're being thrown into and taken away. And you also see what looks to be a lot of smoke rising on the very periphery of where the lip of the dish that is Upper London sort of goes off the edge. You see smoke pouring out of the West End.
West End is specifically Robbie's?
It's the English territory, yes.
Where's my house in relation to this?
Close by.
Oh, no. I'm sure Cooper and everyone else in my house is fine.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Start as you mean to go on.
Oh gosh, I hope
Bugger.
I might take a walk.
I think the doctor would try to join Magdalena at least for a moment in said walk. And
Doctor, before you go, can you just take a look at one thing for me? Sorry.
Yes.
Can you just check if my hand is okay? And she'll just present the hand that has the little bird mark of the coin on it.
Okay.
Just feels strange, that's all.
What do I get from it? Parapsychology, medicine.
Yeah, parapsychology. The medicine roll doesn't need to be made. It is so basic. It's a burn.
Okay.
It's a contact burn. Something hot was in contact with her skin.
14.
On a 14, the markings are strange. The imagery is strange. You recall having seen it before on coins that Mr. Grimmauld had on him. One of the sides had this image on it. You can't clearly see it, but there's sort of some outlines of symbolism, some sort of alchemical rings of some sort, perhaps. Old sort of beliefs, basically.
That's from Mr. Grimoire?
Yes.
Was that a Hellfire coin from the theater?
I didn't know it would do that.
I
just wanted his
for
help.
one am glad it did. And he'll like, if you'll allow, he'll like check your eyes and stuff, you know, to see if there's any kind of signs of demonic possession or anything like that.
Sure, go for it.
Sure, give me a parapsychology check.
Ooh,
Does she have an extraordinary amount of sleep gunk in her eyes?
I see you have the sleep.
Another 14.
Very sleep deprived at the moment, but aside from that, you don't see any signs of a possession in their eyes.
Okay.
Possessed by something, perhaps, but not a demon.
I think you'll be okay. And then I will attempt to catch Magdalena, not to like go with her, but to speak to her briefly.
She would have paused outside of the room if she saw that
Okay.
the doctor wanted to speak with her.
And again, clicked and bowed before the ladies, and as he walks out, he says, in theory, I have nothing against this new world order that is occurring. I just wanted to let you know that my feelings are torn currently, but if things go your way, I hope that we can come to some kind of an arrangement.
Oh, yes, of course. You are going to be #1 doctor, whatever science stuff you want. I mean, that is plan, so.
And go check.
You just point at the house, and you say that one, I say, okay, and then we just throw whoever's in it out, and we put you in there.
I appreciate that.
You
Now,
might be my favorite human besides Cooper, but don't tell me.
I am very appreciative. I do want to, however, suggest that whatever made the explosion could have been at Archie's behest. So if you get to your house and anything has happened to Cooper or your dear Papa, do know that it could have been sent by Archie. I just know that your vision is clouded when it comes to him, and I
have so many emotions.
I know I want to help you through this and keep you thinking straight. Good luck.
Well,
to you. And he
Archie
there
does not know that Papa is in town. So if I need to, and he's okay, which he should be, it's Papa, I can have him have a chat with Archie, and Archie would be able to conceal nothing then, because flaying, you generally tend to spill all of your beans when you are being flayed. So.
And the doctor
place for beans when you have no skin.
does that psychologist nod, like yes, flay, very persuasive.
It's very effective.
I wish you luck. And,
Thank you.
And vampiric speed, and he again there gives you the pat on the shoulder.
Still got like her cup. I think she's taken the saucer and the tea and placed it on top like a to-go cup, like just in case I need this for later. And she goes, I shall be back by morning. I will send the word if not.
Yeah, it would be appreciated. Thank you.
Or rather. And Magdalena is she's just gonna ghost. She's just gonna blend in with the shadows, be very quiet.
You begin to ghost as the new year is ringing, and you make your way into the streets. They're clean, they're fine. You see some of the last nobles being loaded into the vans, the last of which is Lord Berrybottom, who is dragged in, only his big toe remaining on his right foot, as he's sort of popped in the back of a cart, and some medics begin to deal with him as they ride off into the distance. The manor now emptied. And you see a couple of journalists by the front gate as well, already working on their stories for the morning.
I consider eating them just to give Delilah some more, some leeway, but she's like, since the printing press, they would just send more, so I will, and it might add. So she'll think about eating them and be like, I already have a to-go cup, and then keep going.
Great stuff. And thank you, Dark Cachet, for the donation. Who do you want to give a crit? Let me know in chat, and we will sort that out for you. And okay, so you get moving out and off. And what about the rest of you?
I need to see what exploded and visit Archibald's Manor.
Okay. And what about the rest of you? Are you getting at least some rest and preparing for the morning to come?
After quizzing the young lord about how
or,
structurally sound his building is, yes?
It is very structurally sound, he says. He informs you of. He gives you the details.
The doctor will indeed check on everyone patient-wise, and
your
with
patients
Lady
are still
Burke,
incredibly injured. Miss Fairchild and Delilah Berkeley will still be suffering from their negatives to vitality.
And I do ask Lady Berkeley if it would be okay for me to take some of Ned's blood at this point.
Go ahead. If you could find something that could bring him back to his senses, that would be very nice. I'm still very new to this whole noble game, and frankly, I'm worried about his name. His name will be tatters because of this. She kind of looks at her like poor husband.
It will either be in tatters, or they will have remorse and pity for him, and they will rally around him, and the nobles will gather, band together, as it were, maybe.
Have you met many English nobles, Doctor?
And he looks at you like, shh, stop it, I'm trying to comfort her. But he doesn't say it, he just gives you that look like, yeah, I get it, you know. And he's like, yeah, these are all possibilities that you should be prepared for. There. And he does the same to Lady Berkeley that he did.
Reputation can at least be restored in somewhat part, Miss Berkeley.
I think so, as long as we play it correctly.
And
like Lord Merritt suggested.
You know how to work a crowd, and Ned is a very brilliant man. He has a lot more to give.
Yes, but he is not, well, he's currently under the control of us, well, I never had thought I would say this, but another man has pricked my husband.
As the doctor is actually sticking a needle in Ned when she says that.
Yes, you don't seem to have the best luck when it comes to your husband and his state of being, but at least we know
first the mirror, now the dagger, yes.
But at least he's not fondue.
And at least or finger food. That was also awful.
Oh, that was I do feel rather ill again.
Miss Griffith,
yes.
Could I pluck your perfect memory for a moment? The dagger at the museum.
Yes.
Isn't there one there that hates vampires?
Yes, there is one that hates vampires. It attacked Magdalena. Miss Berkeley sang it to sleep. I do believe that is a rather excellent idea. We should go and talk to the museum again.
Yes, indeed.
Perhaps don't tell Magdalena about it.
No.
Just wait until Magdalena's walking through the streets, a dagger chasing her down.
Yes, indeed. That would be most wise. As the Americans say, a ace in the sleeve, maybe.
They would say something like that, wouldn't they?
It sounds more like...
It never works.
GM.
Yeah.
As they were talking about Americans, aces and sleeves, do I, like...
Yes, you do know American terminology, yes.
Yes, but specifically...
You're more ingrained than the German doctor who's been in England his entire life.
Yes, but specifically, does it jog any memories of that horrible illegal auction that sold that really, really scary mob American lady who's really angry, and she bought this entire thing
if
that
we said your memory, it rejogs memory.
Incinerate
Yeah, you can think about that.
Okay, yeah, she
the incredibly ruthless Don Yeah.
Yeah, she will kind of look up as they're talking, but that reminds me of something.
Hmm.
Do you remember that woman who bought that, horrific machine of war that could, incinerate buildings and cause things such as, what happened? Possibly?
Yes.
No.
Did I ever mention to you that she is the Don's daughter and very, very malicious, hates Englishmen, and also even Mickey tends to stay clear of her, and they usually work together with him being the lesser, usually, but...
No,
He is
this
also
was
the lesser.
details that we did not know.
Yes, I
Who's
never thought it was
Don?
relevant up until this particular point.
Is this short for Donald? I don't...
Oh,
You
yes,
remember the
I
name
forget
Camille
that-
Livingston?
Yeah. I have it in my notes, but I can't remember if I took it down as Tilly or as just a person. So I don't know if Tilly knows it or not. I can't
I
remember.
remember that. I don't remember saying her name, but maybe. I'm not sure. We'd have to go back many sessions ago.
No, you didn't say their name. You just knew of them.
Yeah,
Also-
she told us about it.
Yeah, she was like,
Have you-
about that. She's quite a high-profile case. I don't like saying her name because it attracts bad luck. And guns. A lot of guns.
You really
having-
knowing this beforehand.
Having had his
Well-
memory jarred about the device, can I
Yes.
make an alchemy or demolitions roll? Because I
You
have
can make me
both
a
those
galvanics
skills.
roll.
A galvanics? Okay. I would prefer a galvanics roll. 15.
Okay, on a 15, you remember the massive device that this lady purchased at the place. You remember how big it was and how vicious it looked. And you believe it was called a death ray. An incredibly powerful galvanic device. And you remember
Like what
one
it
of the
does
creators
one
of it? It was by a scientist known as Van Helle.
And do I believe that what we just experienced and or heard could have been done by this device, or was it a more conventional?
It shook the
bomb?
entirety of London, so it could possibly be done by that. Whatever did that was massive. There's been explosions in Lower London before that haven't really shook the Upper London's area. This was significant.
Okay. All right.
And it's as you consider that. Yes, Delilah.
No, she was just gonna be like, and did you still want her name?
What do you think?
And do you?
Elizabeth?
Well, considering her insatiable curiosity despite everything that could be, good for her health and safety, I imagine so.
It's at least a name to pass on to the police.
Yes, I'm so fond of them, and they're so
Yes.
helpful. They have been so of service to me and my family.
You don't have to give me the name, but if you do, I'll put it in an anonymous tip and I will give it to the police. It won't be traced back to
Yes.
you. I've had enough of that.
I have a question, GM. How many people know her name other than the Americans?
Most people know her name if they're in the know
Okay.
of that underground circuit. They know to fear her.
Okay, so it wouldn't be just like if the police get her name, it wouldn't be like immediately traced back to the
The police
local
will
American.
not touch her.
Cool. If that's the case, she just kind of shrugs. Well, the police won't touch her. I suppose that's fine. So her name is Camilla Livingstone. Do you have some salt?
And as you say that, meanwhile, in Lower London, a massive explosion has taken place. The air rushes past the waiting American mob that stand a distance away. At their head, a lady wearing a very nice dress and with a cigarette on a stick in her mouth as she has a puff and watches. Very good, Jonathan. It works a charm. I didn't think it'd work that well, but good job. Yeah, thanks, Miss Livingston. Really packed a punch, Bobby, he's dust. That is a shame. I liked Bobby, but, well, that sends a message, doesn't it, Johnny? Yeah, it does, boss. So what now? Well, we sent the message. Now we wait for the reply. If there's any of them left. Johnny, go and gather all of Mickey's boys. I think they'll be happy to see the boss. All right, boss, he says as he picks up the massive, hefty death ray and begins to load it back into the cart where it was before. One of the other members is saying the prayers over the ashes of Bobby on the ground, the pile with just a bit of skull remaining and a bit of an eye hole peeking out as he continues to say his prayers and rambling. And Miss Livingston walks over. Oh, come on, stop your prayers. It won't help him now. He's already up there. I assure you, he did a good service to all of us. Now you go and run along, find a dustpan and brush and sweep him up. We don't want him here on the streets when the cops come. Just chuck it in the river or something. Keep the streets clean. That's all we gotta do around here. Heavens no, the English don't. She smiles and walks off. And that is where we're gonna leave today. As you begin to make your way back down towards your house, Magdalena. And the rest of you
I'm
just
looking to
heard
see
the name.
Like as we go, I'm like, is my house there?
And you'll find out about your house next session. As we're going to go around, we're going to have each of you do your outros and just let us know who you are, what your favorite moment of today was, and where we can find you or anything that you're working on or looking forward to. And we will start the opposite way from the beginning of the show and go with Doctor VerRuckt. Greybeard.
Hey, I'm Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern. You can find me on the Twitters at Greybeard's Tavern. My whole schedule is there. The next thing I'm in, I think, is Sunday, 10 a.m. over on my channel, Greybeard's Tavern, on Twitch, and I will be playing some Darkest Dungeon. I guess okay, I love the little details. One, Delilah Berkeley and I have to get my clothes changed before I continue to survive this horrible night. That was beautiful. It was amazing. You had quite a few little just very Delilah bits. Like, I'm in shock and I'm on pain meds and I'm gonna be me to the end. It was gorgeous. And then yeah, it just everybody. Tonight was just insane. And it was literally Laugh Love Lindy and I were saying in chat, we're like, oh my god, really? That 2 hours went by like nothing. It was just a roller coaster. So I will let other details be there for everyone else. But as always, thank you, sir, for such amazing entertainment.
More than welcome. Always good to have you, Greybeard. And Tilly.
Oh boy. Jeez Louise. Okay, favorite moment. I think I've got to cling to the nice bit, which was watching Miss Fairchild tuck away the children into bed. Because my God, everything that came before and after that was just a very stressful time. It felt like I was playing like a really stressful first-person shooter game, apart from I had no gun and I was walking around with loads of people trying to shoot me and I forgot how to dodge and creep. It was awful and great at the same time. Good job, GM. I kind of hate you a little bit for this one, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I'm Humbledore. You find me at Humbledore6 on Twitter. At the moment, I am in the midst of doing my final year project for university, so I am very busy at the moment. But you can find me on... No, you can't find me on Tuesdays anymore on Hollow's channel because Mistborn has ended, but there's something maybe in the works. I'll let Hollow talk about that if he wants to. But otherwise, thank you very much for checking in.
No problems. And as always, it's good to have you. And speaking of good to have you, Magdalena.
Oh, thank you. Oh goodness, I was stressed out from minute 1 till minute done, and just that was amazing. I think my favorite. I think my favorite part was just the part party. I loved the finger food, Delilah's reaction to my fondue. Like that, everything about the party was morbid and horrific, and I loved it. I loved everyone's reactions to it, and Magdalena's like non-reaction to it. Like, I mean, we used to have these kinds of things all the time back in the 1400s. So she might not be the best person to ask about it. Oh boy, I am as full of emotions as Magdalena is, and she's a Dampier, which means she's very passionate. So this was a very difficult night for her because she was having to try to choose between two things, and she prioritized saving her friends, and they're fine. So winning. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. I play and NGM a lot of tabletop RPGs. You can find me at the same time slot on Tuesdays here on Encounter Roleplay, playing a much worse vampire. She's a Viking. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But you can also find me on my channel doing awesome things. This Friday, tomorrow night, on my channel is our once-a-month Aliens campaign. So it's intense. It's terrifying. We're all gonna die. And also keep your eyes out for announcements because Sunday is my birthday, and I'm gonna be in a lot of games on that day. One of which is a charity game, so keep your eyes peeled for the official announcement because it is a cause that is very near and dear to my heart. So thank you so much.
No problem, and definitely look forward to seeing whatever it is that you announce on that day. Then, Lindy, as usual, it's been a pleasure, and Delilah.
Hello. So that was a session, and I have words for it. Specifically, words I don't know. It was very overwhelming, and I feel my heart went like this a lot. Especially it was really high when Miss Fairchild was being absolute just. If you ever want to be like Gothic Mary Poppins and you're ever out of a mourner's job, you know where to go. If, assuming my family hasn't fallen into complete ruin. But, little things. Favorite part, let's think. One of my favorite things is I love romances, and one as twisted and dark and just very complicated like Magdalena's was very interesting because I was like, is she going to stab him or is she going to kiss him? Are they going to kiss or is this going to be death? I was like, And, that was a really fun moment. I loved that kind of tension, and I love that stress of, but you're doing bad things, but a little tiny bit of moral quandary. And love, and the tiny little bit of moral quandary. I loved that little scene. It was nice, and I liked seeing the effects of that play out. So that was really good. Everyone else, as usual, mwah, you guys were amazing. Hollow, as usual, I feel like my heart's been ripped in little pieces, and
good.
Yeah, as for where you can find me and who I am Loria Lark on Instagram and Lark Loria on Twitter. For some reason, I don't know why Twitter did that to me. Anyways, I draw things, I sing things, and I post pictures of my cat. And yeah, and sometimes you'll find me on Hollow's channel on Saturdays. Not this Saturday, unfortunately, I think.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, but some Saturdays, not Sundays. There we go.
Definitely not Sundays. And no, thank you very much for playing. It's good as usual, and Miss Fairchild.
Okay, so many emotions happening all at once. It's so great because Miss Fairchild doesn't solitary because of the whole have child will not travel thing, but it's just so great just reacting to all of this stuff happening, going, oh, my character doesn't know anything is wrong, especially because I didn't move the periscopy thing, so she's just completely unaware until walking into that ballroom, turning around and walking back out again. It's so great to be able to just watch because you're just so good. The acting, the reacting is amazing. So even when people aren't speaking or engaging in a scene, just the acting is fantastic to watch. So I just want to shout that out, especially Tilly, because the moment that ballroom scene happened, there was horror. And with everything happening, emotions high and everything, I just had to look there and get drawn right back into the scene and remember exactly what I was looking at and why it wasn't quite that funny that the person who was fondue was talking. Really, even though that's just really funny.
Fondue.
Please don't.
How long have you been thinking of that one?
About 2 seconds, but I'm into it.
Oh no, this whole session was just amazing. I think my favorite part though has to just be Delilah looking at this scene of carnage and horror and going, my reputation will not recover from this. And it was just the best. It's the most in-character thing ever, and I absolutely love it. Just the commitment to that. This is important. I've realized this is important. This is all I'm going to think about, because otherwise, just trauma. But this whole session was just fantastic. I'm so lucky to get to do stuff with you guys. You're so good. As for who I am, I'm Shakespeare. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shakespeare. You can't find me anywhere else at the moment because of, Mistborn shenanigans, which I will let Hollow talk about. But I do things on my Twitter. I knit, so we have VerRuckt and, a womb, because why not? VerRuckt? No. Anyway, I knit things. Everyone has knitted things from me, because that's what I do. And on my Instagram at the moment, I'm doing the Modernless March challenge from Pinsent Tailoring. So there's a lot of random photographs and my thoughts. If you want to get in on that, it's weird. I'm sorry, but there you go.
It's all good. And thank you very much for playing. And as for the rest of this, thank you everybody for watching today. It's always a joy to see how many of you show up and how many of you join us for this. So thank you for joining along for this really strange, macabre ride through neo-Victorian London, a post-apocalyptic world. Love having you all here. Excited to be back. And next session should be quite a blast. From now on, it will pretty much be high tension all sessions from the looks of things. So we'll see how that goes all the way on right up to finale. But I hope you've all enjoyed it. And I'm a Hollowtail. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Hollowtail, where I do various different videos and bits. I just released one recently, only about last weekend, which is basically a little limited animation thing about what AC is in D&D, which is a bit more in character of the Plague Doctor that I have teaching in an academy for the dead, which is a very responsive audience. And aside from that, I also have Tales from a Hollow World, which is a dark fantasy adventure set in an original dark fantasy universe that I've been building for over 8 years, and it has the wonderful Laugh Love Lindy, the brilliant Little Cup of Joe, and Pruitt from WebDM in it, and it is a half an hour quick fire, really focused on the narrative, short audio drama-esque session that we do. And the 3rd episode is out on YouTube. You can also check out the 4th episode on iTunes and Podbean, and there'll be more coming very soon. I've just had a bit of time where I've needed to take a bit of a break from everything, but now I'm back. I'll be getting more episodes of that out soon, so definitely tune in for more. And also, next Thursday, back here. So come and tune in next week. And yeah, no, you've all been brilliant as usual. And my final announcement for the day is the person who gained redemption today is Magdalena. So Magdalena, reduce one of your corruptions by 1. And I'm going to play us out right now with a wonderful song by the brilliant Noir Enigma for our show, as they'll play you out for the night and set the tone for the end of this evening. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Unhallowed, unhallowed. Story of some friends investigating mysterious happenings in Metropolis, and the frights and the spooks don't stop, and they gotta deal with Chicken Boy and GREYBEARD while protecting all the family and friends. New enemies and old keep attacking them, and everything's fighting for their attention. And there's a deity called the GREYBEARD that I mentioned. Unhallowed, unhallowed. Metropolis of Curios, unhallowed.